everybody. Welcome to Call to Action Live this Sunday. We have some amazing stuff happening this week. Some good things, some drama, which we have opinions on. And joining me this evening, we have the amazing PLD. How you doing, Paul?
It's me. It's PLD. I'm doing great. It was a busy day indeed. Lots going on in the Schmoedown world and with certain former friends and things like that.
Yeah. Lots of drama. Friendships just got destroyed. I thought we had a thing, Hitman, but anyways, moving on. All right, and we have the incredible Danielle. How are you doing this evening, love?
Hello, Kelsey. Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited to be here today.
Yay, thank you so much for being here. And I don't know if you can see below me, we have a very special guest this evening. We have Sean Sullivan from The Den joining us to talk about some Star Wars tournament. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. I'll come on anytime. You know that.
Yes, we really appreciate
like
it.
certain former faction mates of mine, I support you guys.
Oh, shots fired already, and I love it. I love it. So.
I love it too. Speaking of which, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I have some opinions, including I definitely want Saul to beat him. Get some revenge.
Well, I think I made my thoughts pretty clear earlier today, but I will just reiterate clearly that he needs relevance now. Brandon's screaming for relevance. He's not relevant anymore. I was backing him for the longest time because I thought we were friends, but now he's attacking everybody like a petulant child, and he needs a timeout. He needs a spanking, and I think Saul's the kind of guy who's going to have to give it to him.
Saul's giving him a spanking. Yeah,
I think Brandon is working very hard, very, very hard to make sure that he can find a right place to fit inside of the Schmoedown, and he's trying. He's very much trying. Good luck with that, buddy.
I mean, the big issue with Brandon is when you hype up a match for 6 months or 8 months or whatever that you're going to come back and you're going to crush someone, and you don't, your relevance is really, in question 100%. Saul will absolutely get Hannah's bacon. And, I mean, Hannah's lashing out at everyone. He went after you guys. You guys were his biggest supporter. He went after Alex. He slashed Alex's tires?
Holy
yeah.
What?
I'm just saying, like, what is... And he slashed his fucking tires.
That's ridiculous. He's going after Rachel. He lives with Rachel for the longest time. He's going after her left and right.
Went after Janine. Like, that's the one that, like, they're best friends. Like, what are you doing?
And then he goes after the flirt and flouse.
The flouse really should have been off limits.
That's secret territory right there, man. How dare you?
National treasure he is. National treasure. Brandon, you're reaching out. I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know if this is a Robert Meyer Burnett thing. I don't know if he's got in your head, but you got to stop it. You got to come home. Maybe we'll accept it if you come begging on your knees like the dog that you are.
Very public apology needed.
Very, very.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? How dare you?
Even after he got traded, I was still rooting for him. Now I can't. I mean, how can you?
Okay. You just can't do it.
Oh, so
you know what?
Brandon Hannah
talk. That's enough. I don't want to give him any more screen time right now.
He doesn't deserve it.
We're not talking about the Intergeekdom tournament today. We'll talk about that later on. We'll get into that. We're talking something more closer to home with some of our people here, myself included, and of course the person down there.
The Justice Files.
There you go. The Star Wars tournament, and it's going down in May 20th. It begins on Twitch. Now, this tournament, I'm first of all, I will say the first thing I have to say, I broke down the tournament. We're going to break down the tournament, the whole thing, go through match by match, give our predictions, see what's going to go down. We'll see how right I am, how wrong you are. It's all good. But with that, I'm just happy that we have so many Star Wars players in the league now that we actually can have a good tournament, because it's been a long time since we've had that many players. What do you guys
think we ever have, right?
I don't think so either. I really don't. I can't think of any that we had like only 4 or 5 at most, it seemed. And it kind of came in and out. The Whitworths came in and out. The Campia was in and out. I mean, John was in and out. But now we got enough for a tournament.
It feels good.
It really does. The Star Wars League has definitely picked up in the last year or so, and we saw really good matches come out of Star Wars in the past few years, but it was always kind of the same people involved with it. So now that we have brand new people inside of it and in a much bigger range, I think it's going to be I think this is going to be one of the best tournaments of the year that we have so far, especially because there's a lot on the line. Every faction only has one Star Wars player, so this is going to be a lot of determining points for each of these factions, and so I'm super pumped about this and kind of excited / worried about how it's going to be on Twitch. So
yeah, Twitch hasn't been a great success yet. I've had a lot of people have had complaints about it, but I do got to say, I mean, they just started out on Twitch. I mean, they've had a couple of shows there. Let's give them a chance to, get their feet wet, see how that works. Maybe I feel like it'll work itself out. It usually tends to, but I mean, it's not bad having their platform. It gets the Schmoedown out to a totally different platform that people don't really see. So I mean, it's got to be good for the league in the long run. The more we spread the league out, the more people get to view it, right?
Yeah, I think the issues with Twitch isn't necessarily the Schmoedown's incorporation into Twitch. I think the issue with Twitch is that everyone's so set in watching the Schmoedown a certain way, watching SEN content a certain way. I mean, I know 90% of the content I watch on YouTube is with my phone closed in my pocket while I'm working.
Yep.
You can't really do that effectively with Twitch. Yep. You can. There is a way to do it, but it's a real pain in the butt. So, I mean, I think that's really what the blowback is there. There's no TV support for it, but yeah, 100%. I mean, if you look at, you look at how big a lot of Twitch streamers are. You look at someone like Critical Role that very much has the same thing. They've got a split audience, half Twitch, half YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's beneficial to get both audiences there instead of only going after the YouTube audience.
Right.
So,
yeah. So I will say, I know people have made their bones known they don't like it. I get it, but let's give them a shot. Give them a chance. Maybe they'll eventually work it out. They're not going to leave YouTube. We're going to eventually get to see them on YouTube. Eventually, I think it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
From what I understand, the Star Wars tournament, for the time being, most likely for the next several months, is going to only be on Twitch.
Right.
I don't think that we'll have broadcast on YouTube.
Okay, fair. That's fair. That was just okay. It'll be interesting to see.
But you can do a playback on Twitch, so you can go back and watch it. So even if you can't tune in to the day, because like what Sean said, that's exactly what I do on YouTube, and that's where I feel comfortable because I can watch it anytime. I don't have to be at home to watch a Schmoedown match. And I have the YouTube Premium also, so I just turn that shit off and then just listen to it. But with Twitch, I either have to be in my computer or I have to go through an incredibly hard process to watch it on my phone. So, but you can rewatch them on Twitch, and I think that would be good for anyone's coming back and watching the matches.
Perfect. So let's should we just get right into it then? I'll put the chat. I'll put the match back up there just so we look at it again. 9 factions, 9 matches. One, of course, the play-in to make the 8-man tournament, and it makes sense that the play-in is between Andreas Cabrera and Josh Cavedo because they're both the only 2 players in this list who have not actually played a Star Wars match. So that's why it made absolute sense to me. That's the way. That's a fair way to do it.
And it makes sense that they're playing Ken because
Ken.
It's Ken. He's got a
book.
book.
Hot air.
Not a bad choice. That's right.
Ken needs an easy match to get worked back into the Star Wars League. I mean, he's taken a year and a half off. How long has it been since he played a match?
That's a good question. I don't
been
know.
A while.
It's been a while. The Star Wars match. That was I think he did a tag team match at some point. I don't think he's quite ready yet to get back in there. But I mean, he's got that base knowledge, which is always what you need.
Right.
But first off, before we get into Ken, why don't we talk about that first match there? I don't know much about the one we don't know anything about is Josh Cavedo. I know he has a YouTube channel. He does some stuff on Star Wars, but I don't know much about him. Do we know anything about him, Sean? Have you ever talked to him, met him, or anything?
I've thought about reaching out to him and stuff, but because I don't even have a frame of reference for him, I follow him on Twitter, and he's posted like one thing that could be remotely Schmoedown related. So I've got a lot of question marks. The way I look at the tournament overall, there's, all these players are either A, they love Star Wars, they love trivia, or they love the Schmoedown.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I want to know which one Josh is.
That's
Does
a
he
great
love
question.
Schmoedown or does he love Star Wars? Because it's got to be one of those two. You know.
Yes.
Have you watched anything on his YouTube or familiar with his YouTube at all?
I didn't even know he had a YouTube channel. So.
Yeah, he definitely has a YouTube channel. I watched some of his videos in the past couple of days, and he seems pretty knowledgeable about Star Wars. He's been doing these videos for a few years, reviews on Star Wars movies and stuff like that. Never really too much into theory, but I mean, if you look behind him and everything that like his setup and stuff like that, it's got a bunch of like, it looks basically like what your setup is, Sean. It's got a bunch of memorabilia and stuff like that behind him, and it really does seem like he's pretty into Star Wars. So I definitely have a lot of confidence in Ace. We all know that Swag is my team. Sorry, Sean.
Wow.
Hey, I wouldn't be on here if I wasn't ready for it. So.
But so I have a lot of confidence in Ace, but I'm very much looking forward to this match because both of them are new into Star Wars competition, and like Ace did Jedi Council with Ken and Emma. So that's, you know, that he's got some knowledge behind there. I think it's going to be a different format because you're not necessarily underneath the lights the way that a formal match would be. So that type of energy isn't going to be in the room for either of them for this match. So I think that this is probably going to be a super interesting match. And we're going to, if Josh pulls some punches and comes out swinging, it's going to be really interesting, especially because no one knows anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to note also, I want to say, I mean, Alex Damon has a YouTube channel, and it's Star Wars. Josh Caveda's YouTube channel isn't Star Wars. There's Star Wars content on that YouTube channel. So I mean, I don't know if that makes a big deal or not as far as his knowledge goes, but he's definitely more of a well-rounded type individual, and yet he's playing Star Wars. So I too, I got to see one or two of his reviews. He does seem knowledgeable, but again, I'm not sold on it yet. I'm not sold on it until I see him play. Plus, he's got to play in this match. You never see him play a match. At least Ace has played a match. Let's be honest. He got knocked F out by Parker and Intergeekdom. Not going to lie. I'm not going to, not going to mince words there.
Paul is not holding back punches today.
But against anyone but Parker, he might have stood a chance.
And you're absolutely right.
Absolutely right.
So I think that he definitely. I think Ace is definitely my favorite for this match. I wouldn't be shocked to see Ace be the second round competitor for that leg of the bracket.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You know,
I do think if I had to pick somebody right now, I have to pick Ace simply because of my knowledge of Ace. So without that X factor, we don't know it, Josh. I got to go with Ace as well.
Yeah.
And real quick before it disappears, we got a super chat.
I've never had to say it out loud. Ferris?
Yes, that's it, Ferris.
I say Ferris.
So we actually say Whiskers now. That's what we call him now. He's general call sign Whiskers. That's it.
I'll get call signs. Is that a thing?
Guys, a new thing in the Action Army. The generals of the Action Army, Ben and Drew, started giving us all call signs. And
what's yours, PLD?
Mine's just PLD. I was the first one. They can't take PLD away from me, so they want to just run with PLD. So I was like, okay.
I don't have one yet. I'm scared.
They're rolling them out slowly. They are rolling them out slowly. So we'll have to see how that goes down. So Kelsey, do you have a pick? We didn't get your pick. Did you?
I'm very similar where I feel like I know Ace's knowledge a lot better. So I'm gonna definitely I think Ace has that one. But I am really interested to see this match because I have not seen either of them do Star Wars yet, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good match.
And right back at you, buddy. I love you. You know I love you.
There's also another stream lab from Fires says whatever Paul says is wrong unless he has Sully or Drew winning.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll get there. You never know. I haven't quite talked about that match yet, but we'll get there. All right. So we all pretty much have Ace beating Josh at this point then. That's good to go. Why don't we go on to the next one? Well, since we were already talking about Ken, so we think it's Ace versus Ken. We'll go in that route. Because obviously we talk about Ken versus Josh. It's the same basic thing. This is all about Ken. But before we talk about the match, I got to say, Ken's promo was absolutely on fire. He's lost a little bit of the hinge. It's perfect for the Burning Droogs. Just the whole thing made me laugh the whole time. I loved it. And I want Ken to do well in this tournament, to play matches well, because if he's going to bring that fire back, that's what you want to see, really.
Like he's the avant-garde like jump cuts and like where he's all of a sudden out in the back of the freaking patio. I mean,
the Vader like mask.
The Vader mask. He
Drinking.
drinks through the mask.
Like when he breathed in through the mask and that quick little Vader breath was so funny. I loved it so much.
And then takes the mask off and talks without moving. That was so great.
I didn't realize he had the mask on and was drinking through the mask the first time I watched it.
That man can cut a promo, and that's just brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I still think he's a washed-up bag of hot air, but you know.
Well, there you go. There is that. He hasn't won. He hasn't won in a while. He's actually only 1-3 in Star Wars competition. Yeah, he won his initial match in the 5-way, which was the Star Wars. I was actually at the Star Wars celebration where that happened. And he beat Jeremy Johns, John Campea, I think Jennifer Nicholson, I want to say, and then Sam Witwer, which is amazing. He actually beat Witwer, but that was definitely his high point because he lost to Witwer after that. He lost to Damon and Scrimshaw, and he lost to Damon 1-1. I don't think he's got it. He's going to hang. He'll be hang in every match. He's not going to get knocked out. He'll hang, but then I don't see him being very strong anymore.
No, I don't think. I think the big issue is that you've got people like Dimalanta, you've got people like Witt who are nose down in the ink, studying everything, and I don't see Knapsack studying anything. You know,
right.
I think he's just going off his base knowledge and whatever he's had to Google for his podcast. For they do the I forget what they call it, but B-rate character head to head. No, but on Force Center they've got the Versus series that they take the B-rate characters. I mean, I think that he's basing all his knowledge off that. So I mean,
it's true. That's true. I mean, I agree. He's even come out and said basically that, or at least it was either him or Christian basically said that Ken wasn't going to study.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's not going to, but he is also having that podcast with Joseph Scrimshaw, who is a threat in the league, and maybe that's going to be enough to rub off on him. I don't know. We'll have to see. As far as versus Ace goes, though, Ken versus Ace, if that's what we're saying, Ace has to prove something to me too, that he has the ability to play in the league. I mean, he had the match. He got beaten. He could have been closer to anybody else, but that's not a good start for him. So is he ready to come back? Is that going to become a traumatizing experience for him? I don't know. I mean, do you come back from that? Like,
he did answer his Star Wars question right in the match against Robert. Technically, he's at 100% accuracy for Star Wars questions.
I will say Ace definitely knows a lot about Star Wars, and if you want to find out, cheap plug, when he was on Chilled Action, we talked a lot of Star Wars. Almost as much as when we talked to Sean, I think. Well, it was pretty close. But
I think you talked more about Star Wars with Ace than me.
I'm sorry. We'll have to
that's totally fine. I'm okay with that.
We'll make up with that.
I've got more balls on my court than just Star Wars. So
there you go. Wow. Sean, a little bit of shooting. I like shooting from that.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Porg's for. The Porg is full of water.
Say fire. You gotta say fire or something like that.
Speaking of that, really quickly, I just want to point this out before we do lose this. Yeah.
Look at that.
I don't know,
right there.
There's nothing better than texting somebody who's right next to you. It's really kind of romantic in a way. So
it's very sweet.
Cute. Jillian and Sean are my Star Wars parents.
That's a good question. Well, yeah, that's all right. Because Robert, that's what the topic was. What do you want us to say? That was the topic.
How could we not?
Yeah. So, anyways, now's the perfect time. Use code C2A Live for 30% off your Manscaped.
Your girlfriends and your wives will thank you.
Oh, C2A will get there at some point for those.
Interesting thought. Ryan Kramer says that Winston said that Ace lobbied for the Star Wars tournament spot and is hungry for this. And that's very interesting because I remember, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I remember at one point that I thought Winston had said he didn't want Ace in or Ace didn't want it. Now, maybe Winston was just kind of like just saying what he needed to say in order to keep the surprise or something. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to keep it open in case he wanted to make a trade. I don't know. But it's interesting to think.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing that specifically, but I do remember hearing that what you brought up, that Winston would say that Ace lobbied for it. So I think that's just going to be a good way for Ace to kind of prove himself inside of the league. I still feel like he's going against tough competition, but swag squad, drip drip, baby, woo woo.
I think that it's going to be Ace in this matchup.
You got Ace.
Ken?
Yeah, Ace.
What do you got,
I have
Kel?
Ace.
I think it depends. I do think I have Ace as well, just because we've seen him more recently. We've talked to him. Ken's kind of been out of the competitor spotlight for a while, focusing more on managing. But also, I read his book constantly, and so I know like what he must have looked up and researched to write that. So maybe he's got some new knowledge and retention that we don't know about. But I think I have Ace on it too.
You have Ace. Okay. Danny, what's your final total there?
I think if Ken studies, if Ken goes out of his way to study and do a little bit more, I think Ken could potentially have it. If he doesn't, if he just goes on his base knowledge, then I think that we'll see. But I feel like because of this new crop of competitors in the Star Wars League, the questions aren't going to be these basic questions. And the Star Wars questions have never been basic questions. They've always been deep cuts, and they'll continue to be. But I think if Ken studies, it'll be Ken. But if Ken does not do anything, I think Ace has a chance for this. So I'm gonna pull for Ace.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pull for Ken. I don't know why I have it. It's just a gut. Maybe it's my desire to see him do well after that promo. That might be all it is. Maybe it's my heart telling me, and it's convincing me wrongly. But I think Ken has something left in the tank to at least be Ace. I think. I know they're good. They're friends. They work together in Jedi Council. There might be that little spark where Ken might have a little more motivation to beat somebody who's worked with before, possibly. For some reason, I think it's going to be a good match. But I'm going to say Ken pulls it out. That's my.
I'm going to change my prediction, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I wanted this to be the bracket of the rookie. I wanted to see Adam Witt do well. I still want to see Molly do well, but I mean, I wanted the upsets from the younger players, but I also really want to play Ken in the second round.
All right, so you're check your hands.
I'll go Ken.
All right, good. Cool. I'm gonna say it's because I convinced you. That's what I'm gonna go with. So
yeah, a little bit, but I just want to play Ken in the second round.
Fair enough. I'd love to see that.
Real quick, I want to point out, why is the chat talking about Hannah? Stop giving him attention. Let him fade into oblivion like he deserves.
Hey, Alex Shawshek's in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Did she cancel? Doesn't he have a Schmoedown appearance coming up? Did she cancel that yet?
I haven't talked to Alex about that, but she definitely damn well should.
Probably should.
There's probably plenty of people we can get in there to take his spot if he is. Yeah. Wouldn't that be ironic? He calls in the shit and then he kind of tries to come on our show.
Right?
Get the hell out of here with that. Well, before we move on, I think I want to jump ship. I want to save the Kelly Sullivan match. Save that for the end of round one. Let's go back to the other side of the tournament now. And there you go. No, he does not have a Schmoedown. That's good. If he did, he definitely doesn't now. That's good to know anyway. And then Billy Belford, who is going against his boys in C2A. Billy is still backing Hannah after all that. Billy, your time will come. Don't you worry about that, my friend.
Do you guys still have Billy on the show at this point?
I don't think anymore. I think
the last time he was on. I don't know. Who knows? Very forgettable anyway. But we'll go back to the other side. Now we got Molly Damon versus Adam Witt. Now this is a very big match that everybody's looking forward to. We got Molly having just the one match, which was just a 5-way. And of course, Adam Witt had his match against you, Sean, and he had that great 5-point pull. That's going to be – I'm kind of sitting back wanting to know what's going on. I think Molly Damon is the one that needs to win more than Adam Witt does because she's got the hype with her. Adam's kind of riding this wave of, I had no idea what I didn't know. No one knew I was getting good at this. I still lost my match, but I still pulled these amazing pulls. So if he doesn't win, it's kind of like not as big of a deal. If he beats Molly Damon, that solidifies himself as a player to be reckoned with in the Star Wars League. So I don't know what you think about that.
So I think now is a good time to bring up something that I noticed about the bracket.
Okay. All right.
So normally a bracket let's leave the play-in match out.
Okay.
Normally a bracket would go 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus whatever, I can't math. But, so on and so forth, right? It's top player, bottom player, and then you move inward.
Right.
That's normally bracket matchups. That is not how this bracket's matched up.
At all.
Because if you look at the Star Wars rankings, who's the number 1 Star Wars player?
In this, not including Alex Bateman?
Look at right. If you look at rankings,
okay,
who's the number 1 Star Wars player?
Under Alex Damon, it'd be Laura Kelly.
In the rankings, it's not.
Really? I haven't looked at the rankings recently.
It's the undefeated.
Oh, the undefeated.
And Kelly is number 2.
Oh.
So this bracket is 2 versus 1.
Okay. All right.
This is 4 in Scrimshaw Dimalanta.
Right.
5 versus 6 in Molly Witt. And 6 versus 7 in Damon I lost the number there, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not
set up differently.
I think that Molly and Adam are very well matched players. I think Molly's Star Wars knowledge is insane, but I think so is Witt. I mean, and you can really see that with what he's been doing. What he's been doing on the fucking movie guys YouTube channel with the baseball calling Star Wars match and the that kind of stuff. Like, you could see that he's studying, and because he's studying, it's refreshing his love for Star Wars. If he wasn't studying Star Wars, those wouldn't be coming out.
That's very true.
That being said, Molly spends all day absorbing Alex's knowledge. You cannot work on a Star Wars YouTube channel because while yes, that's Alex's channel, that's really their channel. She does all the editing for she does, I don't know what they actually do, but I'm assuming she does some form of editing, social media, something for that channel, and she's on the channel half the time. She's got the knowledge, and really, if you go back and you look at, I know I watch their channel sporadically. If you go back and look at whenever there's prediction videos, it's Molly that has like the real hardcore prediction that I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's a real toss-up for me. That's exactly it. Just like Nikki helps Andrew and Jill helps me, you can't not. It's a real toss-up, but I think I have to go with Molly.
Okay, all right.
I think Adam. I have to go with Molly, and I have a reason for this, but I think that Adam would do very, very well.
Is Jillian mad at you right now? Is Jillian about to smack you?
No, I don't even think she is listening. Oh, yeah, she is. Okay. I think here's the problem, right? I never want a player to go 0-2. And I know that in this league it matters a lot less. I don't want Adam going 0-2. I want Adam winning his match so that he's still in contention next year for Star Wars.
Right.
I want to keep the Star Wars League as healthy as possible, and if that means that, I'm going to be wrong on that prediction, yeah. So.
Okay. I will say that I agree. Thrawn's brought up a couple of times that in the chat here that in her one match she was 4th in the 5-way. Although I do think that's a little incongruous because first of all, I think even though she was 4th, she was still very close points wise with the others. I don't think there was a lot of difference between the points. And second of all, that sure was her debut under the lights in front of 700, 800. It was the biggest audience they had ever had. It's a lot different than playing in your room. Just when you're only the Star Wars knowledge. So I have to see that might have something to do with it. I still have faith that she can learn just not by osmosis necessarily, but she does help Alex Damon. On the other side, Adam Witt has what I like to call old man Star Wars knowledge. Because he's an older guy. He lived through the original trilogy just like me. And I have a lot of base old time Star Wars knowledge. And that gets me through a lot of the Star Wars matches when I try to play along and everything. That gets me through a lot of that indeed. Now, Disney stuff comes into play. That's where it might throw him off a little bit. But as far as the 1 through 6 goes, he's probably really set in that, I bet. So he only has to really study hard more on the Disney. And this is all speculation by me, just going by, like I said, to my own old man Star Wars repartee, I'm thinking. But
I'm gonna flop that on you.
Go ahead.
The Disney ones aren't the one he has to study.
I think so. Really?
I know. I think I know which ones are his weak points, and I don't think they're the Disney ones.
Yeah, okay. Mine was definitely more of a general thing based on his age, but you probably know more than I do about it, having talked to him. So
Yeah, I mean, he's got so much love for this freaking franchise. I mean, I love Star Wars. That guy really fucking loves Star Wars. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Pretty much, Dana. Actually, it was Empire, my first movie ever, so that was 4, I think. So yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it was 4.
Are you sure you weren't like already in like your adult ages, old man?
I'm not John Roque age. I'm not John Roque age. Come on.
Close.
Close.
Oh.
I'm the next generation down, maybe. Oh, and yeah. Okay.
And you know what, Billy also brought up something good. You know, you can be 0-2 in this league and still be in contention looking at Andrew Dimalanta. That's totally true, but I think that's less true for someone who's a multi-division competitor.
I agree with that.
I don't think you're going to lose a competitor like Dimalanta going 0-2, or hell, Dimalanta going 0-3. He's still going to be around next year. But I think with someone who's a cross-division player, I think that's a slightly different story.
He might not be able to stick the Star Wars League. That's true. He'll go back to singles or teams and see what happens with that. Although you are right as far as everything else goes, because a lot of these players, if you look at their records, there's nobody. I think Sean, I think you're the only one with a winning record.
And I only have one match.
And you only have one match.
Yeah.
I'm looking through it. It's all 0-0, 0-1, 0-1, 1-3, 0-2, 1-2. Sean's 1-0. Ken's 1-3. They're all lower ranked, so it doesn't prevent everybody. But the Star Wars League is also getting a lot stronger, also, and that's also part of the reason why you start losing down more and more. Then you can't go back. So at that point,
that's for sure.
But I didn't actually give my prediction. This was a hard one for me too. I think I have to go with. I think I have to go with Molly. I think for some reason she's gonna strike through. I do think it wouldn't surprise me if Adam would beats her. I think Molly needs it more, so I think she might pull it out because of that. That's my call. What about you, Danielle?
So I think that this is going to be a very fun match to watch because I agree with what Sean's saying. It very much seems like Adam is extremely knowledgeable in his Star Wars lore and just information. So, and that if you didn't watch that play-by-play of A New Hope, please go back and watch that because it was so much fun and super amazing. Watch it with a movie; it makes it 10 times better. That was a lot of fun, but also we can't discount Molly at all. Just because Molly had the performance that she had 4th place in that 5-way thing, we don't necessarily know. What if Molly was a quick pull from that and she didn't actually study from it? She was just there. They needed someone else to be on, and they asked her to be on because they know who she was. So that could be something that could be a part of that. So I don't want to use that match specifically to discredit Molly. She's around Alex a lot, and I do believe that she would help Alex study, and I think that she's going to be able to retain a lot of knowledge and come really hard with it. So I think for me personally, I believe that this match is going to be like this on it, but I'm absolutely, as much as it pains me to say, because I adore Adam Witt. I love everything that he does on the internet. It's so much fun. He's so funny, but I just have to give this to Molly. I think Molly's going to take it. Especially because Molly was one of the biggest free agent catch that was out there. Everyone was talking about Molly. She was the one free agent who was on everyone's lips about it. So I think that I don't want to say that she feels any pressure behind it. I think that she understands that she's a hot contender in this and she's going to come up swinging. So I definitely have Molly for this one.
Kels?
This is also really hard for me because I adore both of them so much. Adam is such an awesome guy. I feel like it's going to be close, and I think it kind of depends on the questions. I think if the questions line up and he pulls a 5-pointer like he did last time, he could totally win it. But I still think Molly just has I think she has the knowledge. I watched their show, their podcast. I've got to talk to her, stuff like that. She knows her stuff, and I don't think her first showing should be taken as an example of what she can do, because I can't even imagine the first time competing being in front of that many people. Like that would be hard for me. So I think she's going to end up pulling it. But Adam could. Just depends, I think, on the questions.
Well, and on top of that, I think there's something that isn't being brought up and I think it only matters for this match, gameplay. It has, like, if you disregard trivia, there's a gameplay aspect here. So
It's true.
Adam lost his first match in Star Wars based on gameplay, not necessarily trivia
Just
knowledge.
pure knowledge.
Yeah.
He missed a couple big ones, but it was gameplay that got him, not trivia knowledge. So I don't think that that's being talked about enough. But the question is, does Molly know the game? Yeah, Alex. Yeah, she's watched Alex compete, but she's only been in one match. It was a 5-way. The rules are totally different for the 5-way. I'm still saying Molly. I don't think Adam will make gameplay mistakes again, but he very well could. He's been in enough matches now where he should have known them already. So,
that's really the best thing about this tournament. There's no gimme match. All of them have. I could see anybody winning any match, honestly. And that's the fun thing about this division at this point. And I will want to point out, like, to the party in the chat, happy the Star Wars League has cropped up a bunch of new prospects, and hopefully they turn it into a cutthroat competition like Inner Geekdom has become. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of the stream here, was that, again, that we have a room for a tournament now, and hopefully, I agree, hopefully that we have more and more people involved in Star Wars and more matches. I don't know if this is Robert or Vanessa or both. Probably not both, considering what happened recently. I don't know if you're still sleeping in the same rooms or you're sitting in the same couches anymore, but we're happy either one of you are here.
From what I understand after talking to Vanessa, Robert has retained the YouTube account. Vanessa gets the Twitter.
Okay.
Fair.
Which one we're on. But I could be mistaken. Those could be swapped. I'm not sure.
That is fair. That is very fair. So, all right, then let us move on down. The next one, Joseph Scrimshaw versus Andrew Dimalanta. This could sneakily be the best match in the first round. Could be. They both know their stuff definitively. They've both been the bridesmaid, not the bride. They both come very close in their matches. Joseph Scrimshaw, I believe it was twice to Damon, very close. Of course, Andrew had that loss to Laura Kelly on being able to pull his 5-pointer. Both very close. Both really want to just get over that hump. But which one gets to do it? Which one does it? I don't know yet. I'm still, as I'm talking, I'm still trying to figure out which one does it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
That one's hard for me. I think I am going to go with Dimalanta just because I've seen him more recently. I have had conversation with him about how much he is putting into the division and studying and brushing up in his knowledge of learning the game. And Scrimshaw's got other projects he works on, things that I don't really know his dedication per se to Schmoedown just itself. So I could see Dimalanta pulling a win there.
Okay, so you're going Dimalanta. All right, sounds good.
I think it comes back to what I was saying earlier. What is each person in this for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dimalanta loves the Schmoedown.
He really does.
He loves Star Wars, sure, but I think he loves the Schmoedown more than he loves Star Wars. Now, that's probably not true, but as far as why does he compete? Mm-hmm. It's for the Schmoedown, not for Star Wars.
He has a podcast. He has a podcast about the Schmoedown.
Exactly. I don't think that Scrimshaw will be as on as he was before. I don't think that it will be as much of a, yes, Scrimshaw is great. Yes, he did great in the past, but the league has changed so much that, if you go back, Scrimshaw's match against Damon, he missed some simple actor questions. There's some really simple stuff that it just isn't in Dimalanta's brain to miss. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is Scrimshaw's not going to study. Just like Ken, Scrimshaw will not study for this.
Yeah.
So, and again, I don't want FinStock Exchange to get any more freaking points, but, I don't think there's any way Andrew doesn't win this one.
And I agree with you on that, but I agree with you because he likes Star Wars. And the way that you put it, who plays this game and why they play it, I think loving Star Wars and Schmoedown and being a fan of the Schmoedown and playing for the Schmoedown is more of a reason that somebody could potentially be someone who's just in it as a Star Wars player, someone who enjoys Star Wars knowledge, because that's going to let Andrew understand how to play the game, which we all know is very important to all of the matches, is understanding the game. And I think Andrew is very hungry to prove himself because he's always been that bridesmaid, and because we all know how much he enjoys this game and how much he loves this game and he wants to be a part of it. And I'm definitely pulling for Andrew on this. I also think that this is going to be a great all of like you said earlier, Paul, all of these matches are going to be great. They're all really crazy setups with each other. But I definitely have Andrew for this simply because I think he's a student of the game, and he's got love for the Schmoedown as much as he has love for Star Wars. And I think he's really putting in some time, really putting in some practice, and getting all of his studying done and doing what he needs to do to go far in this tournament.
I will say this. I do think that Joseph Scrimshaw is very knowledgeable, like we've all said. I do think he comes more from the earlier generations of the Schmoedown, where he came to play because it was going to be fun. I get to go on, express Star Wars knowledge. I get to dress up, talk Star Wars. It's a great time. Every time he lost a match, I was like, I kind of had this like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll get him next time. Maybe I won't. It's fun though. I'll come back for more. We'll start going into this humor bit, and I love it. I loved it, but I do think that's why Andrew is really, really hungry. He is hungrier than I've seen a lot of Schmoedown competitors, and he's got the bomb ass song by Nikki. We love Nikki on this podcast. We're a big fan of Nikki in there. The Greed is good. That's a great song. But I do think this match could go down to the wire. I think I would not be surprised if this match goes to overtime. I think this match could be, like I said before, the best match from round one potentially. I'm also, though, going with Andrew Dimalanta. And I do want to point out, Will McLean said in the chat that Sam Witwer didn't care about the Schmoedown and he was still great. I don't think Sam Witwer, well, first of all, Sam Witwer is a freak of nature. And I do think his knowledge, sometimes when your base knowledge is that good,
it doesn't matter.
You can overcome gameplay. But I think that, I don't know if Joseph Scrimshaw is quite on that level to be able to, comparatively, when you go up against an Andrew Dimalanta, who's probably at least the same level as he is. If not more, I don't know. I don't really know who the difference is at that point. But that's another Eric Rodriguez. Andrew's the hungriest Star Wars competitor, it looks like. His fandom.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
absolutely.
Right now, compared, I'm sorry, Sean, you go for it.
No, you're fine. Ladies first.
Compared to like what the game was when Witwer was playing to what the game is now, it's completely different. And yeah, Witwer could get away with having that insane amount of knowledge, like just being this like fucking Darth Maul over here, doing everything that he needs to do and answering those questions. But gameplay is something that I truly believe is becoming a bigger factor inside of the Star Wars League, because the Star Wars League is not the same Star Wars League that it was 2 years ago, that it was last year. It's completely different now. So I really truly believe that gameplay is going to be something that's going to be a big important thing coming in the future matches. And I don't think Witwer ever really paid attention to something like that. I think he just knew what he needed to know and did it. And I think if I know that everyone loves the Iron Man match. That Iron Man match was epic. It did what it needed to do, but we all know what happened at the end of that Iron Man match. And if it wasn't just for the Iron Man format, it could have been a completely different match. And we've seen Witwer lose before also, and Witwer lost because of gameplay. So I think it's a totally different thing. So yeah, you can say that Witwer didn't care about the Schmoedown and he still won, but it's a completely different league now than it was then.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and Ryan Kramer, just because we're on the Witwer thing, Ryan Kramer really brings up a good point there. Ken knows virtually as much as Witwer did then. Yeah, and that's kind of my point about Ken. Like, there's a difference now. I'm not saying that, the competitors now are any better or worse than Sam Witwer, but I'm saying that the competitors now are devoting the time to study and go look up the trash compactor number. That was a question in the past, and everyone was like, what the – like, I think one person got it. Like, they're developing the time to go look up all of these things and not just know them. So, yeah, it was freaking amazing. And, like, if he were to come back, I'm sure he'd blow through the league. But the fact of the matter is, his root knowledge is not the same as, what Dimalanta is putting into it.
Agreed. Well, Sean, I'll put you on the spot. Do you know the Star Wars? Do you know the track compactor number?
3263827.
That's right. You got it. All right. Good. We gotta go. There you go. That's why you actually have a good chance to pull out the upset against Laura Kelly, because it is an upset considered at this point. Laura Kelly is the favorite one after her matches so far, and after her taking a good shot at Damon at the Spectacular. We got Laura versus Sean. This is the one you're going to have a most interesting time predicting, Sean, I'm sure. But I will say mine first. Today's the day I don't mince words. I love both of you. I think that Laura has proven her worth here so far. Sean's had one match. It's been a great match. I have him on my fantasy teams. I think he could definitely upset. I think could easily upset Laura. But I don't know what's going to. I really tend to see what happens. I think the key to the match is going to be Laura Kelly's confidence. Laura Kelly has knowledge, but she seems to doubt herself in these matches. Now, whether being at home is going to hurt her or help her more than being under the lights of the studio, I don't know. But I know you're ready, Sean. I do know you're ready.
I'm about as ready as they come right now.
I know that. So.
I'll say this. Okay. So,
cut a promo.
Number one, I'm not going to hold it against anyone who you pick. I don't care. I came onto it to talk about this, all that considered, I know, like, Ferris was in the chat earlier. I know he picked against me the other day on his podcast. Like, look, Laura Kelly's got an 87 or 88% accuracy. I have an 80% accuracy, okay? It's like Brandon Hannah. But 80% doesn't cut it in this league. It was also my first match.
Right.
It was also a whole lot of things, I think Laura Kelly is the obvious favorite. But, again, it comes down to love of the Schmoedown or love of Star Wars. With Laura Kelly, it's neither. It's the love of trivia.
I agree.
I do agree. Listening to her show, they talk about a lot. They love trivia, the bar trivia. Yep.
Yeah. So Laura Kelly, I think that Laura Kelly is going to do fantastic, but she's going to lose on gameplay. She doesn't know the game. She doesn't watch the Schmoedown. She doesn't, she doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know who Adam Witt is, and she doesn't have to know any of that. She's going to show up. She's going to answer some Star Wars trivia. She's going to drink some champagne or whatever the hell she drinks, and ultimately she's going to lose based off gameplay. The difference in, because the Star Wars League last year, right? Mm-hmm. You had a 5-way, you had Laura versus Dimalanta, and you had 2 championship matches. The difference between the league then and the league now, you've got Dimalanta, you've got myself, you've got probably, hopefully, Ace or Josh are going to know the game. I think every one of these matches will be decided based on gameplay more than trivia. And that's what it comes down to.
I don't disagree. And I also want to point out, you said your 80% accuracy with your one match. Everyone who watched that match knows that you got better as you went along. So I will chalk the first part off. You probably had a little bit of jitters, a little bit of that first time jitters. But as you went along, you seemed to lock in. And I think you've had that opportunity now. You've had that match. You're ready to move on to the next level. I'm going to pick Sean Sullivan to upset Laura Kelly.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion. I think on Laura's end, it is a mixture of both of what you said, gameplay and confidence. Because we've talked to her when we had her on Ladies' Night, and she does doubt herself quite a bit. And sometimes I feel like you just kind of have to blindly trust your knowledge. Just like, this is my gut. I'm just going to go with it instead of overthinking it. So I think both those things may bite her in the butt during the match. So I do have Sean as well.
All right.
Yep, and I'm going to try to speak as objectively as I can, because I'm just going to pretend like Sean's not here at the moment.
If you go like this, you might not be able to see him.
I just got to go like this. You can't see, but I'm putting my hand over Sean's.
There you go. You can't see stuff.
That's funny. I agree with everything that all of y'all are saying. Absolutely 100%. And I do believe that Sean is definitely going to come in with guns blazing, and I have nothing but confidence. I have nothing but confidence in Sean. Laura Kelly has also done amazing inside of her matches, but I absolutely agree with both of you. I do think that the confidence factor is going to come in there because I think it's an important part of gameplay and when it comes to playing the game. I had never heard it in the way that Sean had just put it right now about the trivia aspect of it, and then that just kind of makes sense. So even if Sean wasn't here, y'all, saying this, but
I'm not here.
I think Sean is definitely going to pull an upset because I think most people have Laura Kelly taking this. And for a long time, I had Laura Kelly taking this. But really kind of thinking about it and thinking about gameplay when it comes into it, and even before, like getting ready for all of this stuff and going back and watching matches and listening to Laura Kelly during her match and listening to Sean or her matches and Sean during his match, there's a level there that I think Sean just takes it to in a way that, as you know, being a fan of the show and being a fan of the game and stuff like that, I think that is going to give him the upper hand in this match. But I do think that this is probably going to be my favorite match to watch, because I root for both of these people. I want all of the ladies to take everything that they can, no matter what. But I think I just really truly think that Sean is gonna take this, and I think that Sean is gonna do well overall inside of this tournament. Spoiler alert for most of my other picks, but
Well, and I mean, something you said there, I want all the ladies to do well. So if I was not in this tournament for some crazy reason, I would want a Laura Kelly, Molly Damon final. I mean,
That would be really cool.
a very male-dominated fandom, or at least something that was a very male-dominated fandom 10 years ago, having a, tournament championship match be two ladies. Fuck yeah. Like,
Absolutely.
we'll
I would
get
love
a
to see it as well. And it's potentially possible. We're not going to say there's a strong potential that could happen. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I think this is of all the matches,
Yeah, pretty much.
truthfully, of all the matches, I think this is the one that can actually go either way.
yeah.
Because while I'm fucking 100% confident I'm going to beat Laura Kelly based on gameplay, she's got crazy fucking knowledge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
The difference between this match and the Dimalanta Scrimshaw match, I'm sure I've got a hole somewhere that I haven't studied properly. Dimalanta doesn't have a hole that he hasn't studied. So
He does have a hole. He had a hole a little bit, but I think it's going to be filled now. He showed that his hole was maybe the Clone Wars movie because that's where he had his 5.
do we have to talk about filling his hole? Let's pass on that one.
Fair enough. Phrasing. All right. Fine. Well, surprisingly, our matches we've all picked pretty similar. We've all actually, the only one in the first round, we actually all picked Sully, we all picked Dimalanta, we all picked Molly. Where we differ mainly was the original, which is the Ken versus Ace matchup. Sean and I have Ken, and Kelsey and Danny have Ace. So let's move on, I guess. Let's go down at that point. Then we would have to face that side of the bracket. We all think Sean's going to upset Laura Kelly. Now, who do you have, Sean versus Ken or Sean versus Ace? I have Sean versus Ken. And I will say right off the bat, I think Sean's got Ken. I am more confident in Sean beating Ken than I am in him beating Laura. So if he can upset Laura, I think there's no doubt he beats Ken. No doubt in my mind. That's how strong I feel about that one.
Yeah, I think if once I get past Laura, no one else in this tournament fucking scares me. So,
okay.
That's the truth of it. Assuming it's Ken, assuming it's Ace, whoever it is, or if it's Josh Cavedo, unless Josh Cavedo has an uncle that works at Lucasfilm and has, been at the studio every freaking day, there's no way. There's no way the second round I can't win it. No matter any of those bottom 3 competitors there, I'm not worried about.
I love that. I love that. And just because Josh is such an unknown factor inside of this, we're all basically going off of what we know and what we've seen inside of the Schmoedown and inside of these people that we know a little bit more of. Because I had no idea who Josh Goveda was until he got drafted. So that's the only time that he's ever been on my radar for anything with Star Wars, and I think it'll be super interesting to see if he does kind of pull an upset and beats Ace and beats Ken and gets to a point where he actually faces Sean. But I wholeheartedly agree with what Sean is saying right now. I can't see anyone below him beating Sean. I think Sean is very knowledgeable when it comes to Star Wars. I think he's very knowledgeable when it comes to the game, and I think I have Sean taking Ken. If it's Ken, I think it's going to be a great match between the two. I think Sean's going to pull it. If it's going to be Ace, I definitely I'm sorry to this man. Sorry to Ace, but I just feel like Sean is definitely going to take that. And same thing with Josh. Josh is an unknown factor in the situation, and if he does kind of pull a weird upset in some sort of a weird upset, if he pulls an upset, then
maybe he's a phenom. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that would be an amazing sight to see. Because what if this one unknown player actually pulls it off, and Roxy trading JTE and a draft pick for this person pays off in her favor. I mean, I feel like Roxy is a very smart manager. I think Roxy's done very well as a manager in the past years and in this year specifically. And I don't think that she would take lightly trading a very unknown person for someone who she really appreciates and enjoys. Like, if you've listened to anything Roxy said about trading JT, it was a very hard decision for her. So it would be really interesting to see how well Josh does in this whole thing. But I still ultimately agree that I think Sean is gonna blow that side of the bracket.
I agree.
Yeah. This one is hard for me. I do so similarly that with Ken, I think Sean's got it. I think he's definitely gonna beat Ken. But the other two are really unknowns for me. I don't really know what's going to happen with them. They could, like you said, just totally just dominate the whole thing. But I'm going to go with someone I know is a solid player because I have seen it. So I feel like Sean's going to win. But I will admit, it's kind of up in the air to me because I don't know those other two players. And so who knows?
I'm watching the chat right now, and I just see that book talk that's going on inside the chat right now.
I want to throw out two things from the chat for you. I want to actually talk about that for a second. But first, Sully, do you know this? I asked, how many engines does CR90 Carlian Corvette have? Do you know that answer?
It's either 6 or 8. It's a shame. I almost put one up there, and I didn't.
I want to say it was more than that. I want to say it was an 11. There's like 11 of them, 10 or 11 of them. I think there is.
All right.
Maybe it's Ronald Pellet.
I'll count that stuff.
Yeah. Sean vs. Ken is going to be insane. It's going to be a fun match. I think either way, it's definitely going to be a fun match.
I do too.
But as for Justin Hamilton's one who keeps saying, Ken Knapsack wrote a book. He wrote a damn book. Well, spoiler alert, so did Brad Gilmore.
Spoiler, sorry.
And he lost Back to the Future, didn't he? So don't you worry about that. That doesn't mean anything. Let's put it that way. But I love you, Justin Hamilton, from
Brandon Buckingham. The reason we think he's not studying is because I've talked to Ken about this. He doesn't want to study. He doesn't want to compete. He wants to commentate. You know, he's only there because, you know, he got browbeaten into it.
Christian wants Ken because Ken delivers the promos that he just delivered. That's why Christian.
That's why Ken's there.
Yes. Hey, just making a point, Justin. You know I love you, brother. I know I love you. But
I don't want to say that.
This forever.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
All right, I meant to say this before the answer came out, but I absolutely lobbied for Paul to be a free agent because Paul, I absolutely did, and I'm sorry I didn't make my voice louder for it, but absolutely, and Paul maybe just didn't have the time, but I lobbied for Paul to be a free agent for a Star Wars match because Paul has an unbelievable amount of Star Wars knowledge inside of that stupid hat of his, and it's insane. So I would have loved to have seen Paul fucking compete.
I would absolutely want Paul in the Schmoedown. Paul, make it happen.
Sean, you and I will come up with some Star Wars questions for Paul. If anyone wants to challenge Paul to a silent C2A match, then maybe we'll figure that out somehow.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I got a lot of Jack Daniels in my brain. These facts come and go. We'll have to see.
Kramer, right? It's 3 layers of engines.
That's what it is.
That's what I'm missing. It's 4, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I thought it was 4 and 4 or 3 and 3. It's 4, 3, 4, right? Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah. All right. Sweet. And actually, it could be true too. I could do that. That would I definitely could probably win also.
Oh yeah, absolutely win that one.
But you know what? Enough about me competing because I think it can happen anytime soon. I'll tell you that much. Let's talk about the other side of the bracket. We had everybody picking Molly Damon and everybody picking Andrew Dimalanta. So we have the Molly Damon versus Andrew Dimalanta match. This is going to be another really great match. I got my gut telling me it's going to be Dimalanta, though. I have a strong feeling that Dimalanta is just stronger. I think Molly is not quite going to be there yet. I think Dimalanta wants it a little bit more. I think Molly Damon, this is going to be a good test for Molly Damon if she goes back next year. She'll be full on ready, I think. It's just a gut feeling. I don't have much to back this up. I feel like Andrew Dimalanta is going to beat her in overtime. That's my guess on this.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I think Andrew's got it. I want Molly to because, as we talked about earlier, I would love a female to go very strong and go through the tournament. But I've also talked to Andrew. We've seen what he's talked about on his podcast, and that his drive, his hunger for it. I think it's gonna be close, but I think he's gonna pull it. I do too.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would also be a fun match to watch. Dimalanta versus Molly Damon. I think would be a lot of fun. I am just kind of I think Andrew is hungry, and Andrew is looking up at those tiny little details that people wouldn't. I'm so sorry to say this, but I think if Andrew were to be asked that question that you all were asked earlier, he would.
No, not a chance.
Yeah, because I just feel like he's really, really coming for this belt, and he's really, really making it a point to study those tiny things because he knows how far the game is going. And I don't put any doubt against Molly at all because I think Molly already has not only just the base knowledge behind it, but I think she also understands the game to a point. So this is a toss-up for me. I'm in the same boat. Like I would definitely want Molly to win just because I want to see more female representation inside of the Schmoedown, especially in the Star Wars League. It's beautiful that we got 2 women inside of here where who was really competing for it before. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely pulling for Molly Damon, but at the same time, when it comes to the game, yeah, exactly. I think Dimalanta is coming for this, and I think he's gonna take it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think. Excuse me. I don't think there's a chance that either Dimalanta. Well, so I think Dimalanta absolutely will win against Molly Damon or Adam Witt. I think that on the off chance Joseph Scrimshaw does win that bottom bracket, because I do think there's a point to talk about the other competitors here.
Okay.
If Joseph Scrimshaw makes it out of the bottom there, I think he would. Then you have more of a coin toss between either him or Adam Witt, between either Adam Witt or Molly Damon versus Scrimshaw. But I think no matter anyone from that top bracket, I think Dimalanta will take it, and Dimalanta will make it to the finals. So,
all right, well, that means that our finals could call to action finals. This is pretty amazing that all 4 of us basically have the same finals. Sully versus Dimalanta for the finals. Now, this is a great match, and I'm not going to go first on this one.
I choose to abstain.
You're going to abstain.
Okay, so
yeah, let's let Sean go first. Ghai, what do you think?
So if you would have asked me if this, when I entered the league and when the draft happened, we were at a little bar called the Den.
I remember that.
You guys know, but for the people in the crowds, I'm not making that up. We were at a little bar called the Den as the part of the after party, And that's when I first really talked to Andrew Dimalanta and Nikki, and they are very, very nice people. And Andrew was convinced that I would be his first opponent.
Okay.
When I first heard that, I thought, oh, that's easy, no problem. And then I learned a lot more about Andrew Dimalanta. Like I said, I think he's the scariest person in this tournament. If he would have been my first opponent, I would have absolutely gotten slaughtered by him. Now, it's a completely different fucking story. So he has been hitting the books hard. I don't think his drive's as big as mine. You know, I'm not sitting there talking about it on my podcast every day. I'm not sitting there having, you know, my own podcast mates talk about it on the SEN official, you know, show. But I'm winning this tournament. Whether or not I beat Damon is neither here, you know, isn't part of this question. I'm winning the fucking tournament. So that I know for sure.
All right.
Now I will step out and let you guys discuss that.
That is the type of confidence that I am here for, and it's great to hear competitors be in their own like that, because that I believe Sean 100%. That totally makes me feel like I believe Sean and all of that good stuff. This is going to be a barn burner if it does get into the Dimalanta and Sully match. Then that's just fun for me as a Schmoedown fan to watch. That's a match that I want to watch as a Schmoedown fan. Knowing that Sean was a fan, knowing that Andrew was a fan before this started, and watching them come up the way that they have and prove themselves the way that they have has been so much fun as a fan for me to watch. So watching those two go up against each other for a chance to play Alex Damon, then that's so good. Like I want to see that match so bad. Like I just want to see them go up against it, because I have full faith in both of these guys that they're studying their asses off in a way that most of these other people that are in this bracket aren't. I truly, truly believe that these two guys are really looking at it from a different angle and from a different point of view that gives them a slight upper hand to anyone else inside of this. And that's not going against anyone else who's inside of this tournament or on these brackets. I believe that this whole tournament is a toss-up. In my opinion, this whole tournament is a toss-up. It could go either way for any one of these matches, even for vice versa in second rounds. So, imagine Witt against Scrimshaw. Like, that would be an exciting match to watch and could possibly go either way, because we both know that both of those people have extreme knowledge. Same thing with Kelly versus Knapsack, or Kelly versus Ace. Now, I will say that I do think that the play-in match, Ace versus Josh, we don't necessarily know where they're at behind it. So even if it was Kelly versus Cabrera or Quevedo, then that could I still kind of put Laura Kelly in that favor. I think that she would still dominate over either one of those. But if it was like a Kelly versus Knapsack type of match, I still think that it would be an interesting match to watch. So either way, however it falls, this tournament's gonna be so damn good. But me as a Star Wars and Schmoedown fan, I desperately want to see Dimalanta versus Sullivan. Like, that's just gonna be so much fun, and it would put me like, I would be pacing my room watching that match, just pacing up and down as that match goes on. So I'm not gonna pick a winner, okay? I'm not going to. I refuse to. And you can give me whatever shit you want in the chat, y'all, but I can't
I'm not gonna choose
you guys.
Wow. All right. You know what? I'll let you off as long as you just right now say Ace's name and Josh's name again. Just say the names again.
Andres Cabrera and Josh Quevedo.
God, I love that. All right, I love
Can
that.
you call that match? Can we get you to call that match?
I would love to. Put me on the death coach.
You ready to play? You ready to play? All right, Kels, what are your thoughts?
I feel like this match would be a bloodbath. I think it will be extremely close. I think that will make the winner happen. Whoever makes winner, it's going to be whoever has the ability to answer one of those weird, obscure questions that everyone, you don't think of coming up. One of those crazy 5-pointers and things like that, which really could go either way. It's just what happens to be the question that is one of the players' gap in knowledge. I have to be careful with saying words around you guys. But it's so hard. I want to do what Annie did and not say.
God, you guys suck.
Because I don't know. I truly don't know.
We're having a prediction show. How can you not make it?
Because I don't know.
No,
I think
prediction show.
I think it depends on the questions. I really do. I think it's nothing to do with gameplay. I think they're equal in gameplay. I think they're equal in knowledge. I think they of all the people we've talked about, I feel like this is going to be like the most on par match. So I think it just depends on the questions.
I want to throw something else out about this match that we're not talking about.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I don't think we've seen it yet this season. We haven't had a Den versus Exchange match yet, meaning we haven't had Finstock and Mulligan interact.
Oh, that would be so good.
Stew on that for a minute. And everyone who thinks that I'm not going to make it out of the first round, just realize that you're missing Mulligan versus Finstock.
I want Kate to pull a T-shirt out of her fanny pack and hand it to Finstock.
Awesome.
Here, put this on.
Hey, and while we're on the subject,
You're gonna catch cold.
while I see Thrawn in the chat, can you sign this for me?
We love Thrawn. We love our
Yeah, I've always spoken like this before. You just started noticing after my Schmoebates match, okay?
Could be. But all right. Well, I never gave my my prediction.
No.
I'm not gonna chintz out. I will say either way. I do go back, but I will say that I agree that I go back and forth. There's times in my life. It all depends. To me, it's going to depend a lot on Dimalanta. Myself, I know Sean wants it. I know Sean can take it. It's going to come down to whether Dimalanta psychs himself out or not. Dimalanta wants it real bad.
Yeah.
And I think in a way that could get him through a couple matches, but I think it might work against him in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is where Dimalanta might fail. He's going to falter. Just like the 5-pointer against Laura Kelly, I think it's going to come down to something big. He's going to psych himself out. And I'm going to go with Sean Sullivan. I predicted that all throughout. Even before if you look at my notes, even before I knew Sean Sullivan was going to be on this show, I actually did predict Sean Sullivan.
That's actually true.
It's true. It's in our notes.
It doesn't matter that I'm in your fantasy league.
That might matter. That might be influencing my desire to want you to win. I'll go, you got to win. I need the points. I'm behind. I need the points, goddammit.
Well, that's a good way to put it for sure, especially because I'm a big advocate for playing the game and understanding the game, and I can definitely see where that would be something that would fault Dimalanta, because I do, like someone said earlier, Dimalanta does have more to lose. I agree with that. I think he does have more to lose. And I think that there is a possibility that he could psych himself out. There's especially anyone who has been a fan of the Schmoedown. Anytime you get like not a trick question, but like an easy question, but you get it at a specific point in time, and you feel like that answer, this question shouldn't be asked at this specific point in time. So maybe this answer isn't necessarily what I think it is, because it seems like it's an easy answer, but it's being asked like at a 3-pointer. And you feel like it's a 1-point question. Mm-hmm. So I think that definitely could factor into that. So Paul, that's a great thing. I can't think of words today. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, all of this got me.
I was gonna say that I'm trying to not talk about Hannah, but that was just a good one I had to throw up there.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
And probably should drop him.
With the finals. With the finals being that way, that I think brings the Den tied with the Finstock Exchange. Assuming Dimalanta wins 2
Mhm.
and I win
3.
the 3. I think we're tied or one up or one under.
I think
And
so.
then we go to IG, and really the Finstock Exchange doesn't have that great of prospects in the IG.
No, I love Emily Rose Jacobson, but she's comparatively some of the other players, I think she's not quite at that level. So I think you're right there. We will have an IG tournament breakdown in a few weeks, just so you know, everybody can look out for that. Not sure when exactly, but we'll figure that out. But you're right. I do think the Finstock Exchange could. That's why actually Christian said it the other day during one of his Patreon. He did a Patreon video where $10 patrons could hop on the StreamYards with them and ask questions and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah, I was accidentally in that.
Yes, I saw that. I have done, and he did say something to the effect of that he thought the Finstock Exchange is happening right now, but these tournaments could really get a lot of the teams to catch up, and they can. They absolutely can. So I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to see a little more evens at this point as we go into the singles tournaments, and if there is a singles tournament, which is what might or may not happen. Who knows at this point? As we get closer and closer to the end of the year.
I think the last thing that we're gonna say, this is off topic, but I feel like the last thing that we're gonna see for the Schmoedown, if we don't get back to studio matches soon, are gonna be team tournaments. I feel like that's gonna be the very last thing that we've all heard how people feel about doing team tournaments over this type of platform, and it just doesn't seem plausible in any sort of way. So I think I hope that everything happened, like we get to get out there sooner while it's safer, and we get back to studio matches, because I really do miss it. But I do really enjoy this format. If anyone is a part of the Patreon and you get those exhibition matches, they're fucking fun. They're great matches.
Yeah, they really are.
They really are. So I don't fault this format at all. I think it works. I think it plays very well. I just recently watched the Lord of the Rings match, and I loved that. The Lord of the Rings match might be my favorite one.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. Is it as crazy as it sounds?
It is match of the year.
It's pretty. I feel like I can't speak too much on it without spoiling anything, but extremely surprised at everything at literally every single thing that happened inside of that match was a shock. Like just
It was a 4-way, right?
Yes.
Yes, it was
Robert Parker, Alex Bateman, Kevin Smets, and Ben Goddard.
And one interesting thing I will say about this is not a spoiler, but one that interested me that there was actually a wheel slice in a category of the 1978 Lord of the Rings, the animated Lord of the Rings.
The animated one? I love that one.
Yeah, which is something I haven't watched in a while, but I was actually surprised. Those are deep cuts comparatively. I mean, comparatively to everything elsewise. But yeah, how much else? Yeah, we'll get a spoiler warning for that. The other ones have been out for a while. But
so good.
Yes, and Jeremiah Morris is absolutely right. I think at this point, it's either that or possibly, or going back to Bateman and Merle early in the year. Those are the two matches of the year, I think, so far.
Oh, that was such a good match.
But yeah, I don't know if they can or not. It's just a weird year. That's why I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know what they're going to do with that at this point.
And that's why I think that they should, because it's been a weird year. And usually these exhibition matches wouldn't be put up for anything for like that. But if depending on how the rest of the year plays out, if we have to continue with some of these things, then I think that's a bummer. But
maybe we need an exhibition of the year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because if they've done what, 6 of them, or they're planning 6 of them, if not more. I mean, we do enough every year to at least have a category, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope there will be. I hope there will be more. Even when we come back to the studio matches, I hope they do continue to do, because these exhibition matches can be very fun. We're getting players that you don't see play. That's how you're going to get a Rachel Cushing to come back, because she'll come back and do an exhibition match. She said that in a way. She doesn't want to get involved in the storylines and the competitiveness that it is now, but she'll, as far as the cutthroat competitiveness that it is now, but as far as the exhibitions go, that's what you can do. You have people come back all the time. So I think it's a good chance that it's a good way to explore different areas of the Schmoedown that we don't get in the regular singles, intergeekdoms, and everything else at that point. So
Dean Morgan in the chat says Zoom match of the year. That's so good. Yeah, that could be the category.
I mean, I think that if we do go back to studio tapings, I don't imagine that the exhibitions will continue.
Yeah.
Not because they're not popular, but just because if we get in the studio, Christian will film as much as possible just so that he has that backlog again. I don't think we will ever, I mean, unless we, for some crazy reason, next January go into lockdown, I don't think there will ever be a point where Christian doesn't have a huge backlog to pull from.
Agreed.
No.
I guess I meant actually by exhibition matches. I kind of meant, I know if we go back this year, I get it. I'm kind of hoping, I mean, the next season, they kind of say like, these were fun. Let's get more of these out and everything else. Go from there. Yeah, that's true. We've seen Sam in exhibition since his retirement.
Yeah,
awesome.
I know he wanted that what if,
right?
The what if, which sounded great, but I mean, the way these, the way I'm hearing these exhibition matches sound way better than what if series.
Yeah,
you know, because I mean, even if you have what if Dan Murrell versus Brett Sheridan, which sounds funny as hell, and I would totally watch the hell out of it. Brett Sheridan's still going to get slaughtered by Dan Murrell. I mean, you know.
Well, if we can get our beloved team action back in a what if match, we'll take that. If that's all we can get, I'll take that any way I can get it. So,
well, what about the Flirt and Flouse versus Danish Christian Harloff
or Professor Crow? That's what I want.
That's the one I want.
That would be so fun.
Christian said no a couple of times, but I'm going to still every once in a while, if I just push on that, maybe a little. That's a good question, Dean. That's a good question.
What if? We might still be friends.
What if? Well,
you have a bigger supporting right now. That's what would happen. But no, he wanted to go and talk shit to every single person that he burned all of his bridges. The Hot Man burned all of his bridges, and you know what, Hitman burned all of those bridges. And to burn the C2A bridge was a total fault on his part because C2A have been one of the biggest supporters of Brandon the Hitman Hannah since day one. So to completely come against all of us, the whole podcast, I'd take total offense if you're going to come at any single one of my podmates at all. You can't do that. And it's like, there's just no way. Like he's not going to have any support in any sort of way from anyone in C2A at all from this. What damn Billy and whatever he wants to say, but that's all. Almost went on a Danny Rant timer. Right
almost. I almost put the timer up, but I was loving what you were saying, so I got caught up in it. So
I saw your hint, Paul. I saw your hint.
Yes, we are aliens. So yes, possibly. So
that is how we form.
I birthed all of them.
Wow, that's okay. That's definitely a vision I never had before. All right, that's right. Well, that wraps up our Star Wars terminology at this point. Kelsey?
Yeah, we have other normal content for the show this week. We'll probably do a little bit of a briefer recap of the match just because of time, and we have other things we'd like to talk about. So, we had a pretty awesome match this week. We had Real Rejects versus The Pride. And yeah, that was a fun match. I really enjoyed it. Not to mention, as we already talked about earlier, the fantastic cutscene before it started that it went on forever, but I wanted never to end.
The Ken promo. I can't talk enough about it. That's such a great promo. So.
Yeah. Like it was 7 minutes. It could have gone on 20 and I would have been fine.
By the way, Brandon, that's an effective use of 7 minutes.
Yeah, that is true.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you know, I was going to make a joke about lasting 7 minutes, but I guess I'll let you guys take that one.
That's also what she said.
Boom. There we go.
I'm sorry. William Bibbiani did post something on, I believe it was Twitter, where he said, we saw Ken's promo before that match. No one can complain about Bibbiani's entrances running long, and I completely agree. Okay.
There it is, Jake. Danny was going to get one in at least. So that's sure. Gotta get
I only have 3. So.
All right. Well, starting with round 1, it was a really pretty solid round 1. It was kind of a rougher start for a few of the competitors, but we got 10 for the Real Rejects and 11 for the Pride. So only 1 point different, but the Pride was ahead, which was pretty cool because Den fan here. And then round 2, this is where things I feel like got really interesting. So the Pride went first and spun Opponent's Choice, which it's never what you want.
Of course not.
But they were given 80s. I feel like they did a pretty good job. Real Rejects did steal 2 points, but they did answer a solid amount of the points and ended with, what was it, 16 at that point. And then the Real Rejects did spin Horror and ended that round with 20 points, and then the Den did steal 2. So they ended 18-20. And round 3, oh my gosh. So any thoughts on round 1 and round 2 before we go on to round 3?
Yeah, so I think round 1 definitely proves not only how to talk some good stuff on the Den, Ben Goddard actually does show up. Like, I know a lot of people kind of were questioning other, like the likes of Christian Harloff and other people putting him in contention for Rookie of the Year, but I feel like everything that we've seen from Ben Goddard so far, really, I think he's really shown up. I think he's putting to rest any doubts that anyone would have against his trivia play. He's done very well in every single match that we've seen him in, and he and Rachel Silvestrini work so well together. I think that they have similar knowledge, but I think that they create a confidence within each other that that allows this team to be as dominant as they've been. But I think that round 1 also really shows how well the Real Rejects are playing. I love that team. I have always loved that team. I've been a fan of Greg and John for a long time. So watching them do that well, and it was, I mean, it was here and there. It was teeter-totter with some of the stuff. I think it's very obvious who the stronger player is in the Real Rejects. And it was a great first round to watch these people do that. And for the second round, I think it was a very smart move on the Real Rejects to give them 80s. I think that 80s was the smarter choice from that wheel to give them, because it didn't look like anything else on that wheel would. I don't have any doubt that the Pride would be weak in any of the other categories. Like, absolutely, don't you dare give them Pixar. They're gonna fucking crush Pixar. So don't give them that. And I always feel like Pixar is a category that a lot of people kind of rush to because people feel like most people aren't strong in Pixar. But that's a team that would definitely be strong in Pixar. So I'm glad that they didn't do that, because I thought that maybe they would pull. I'm sorry to say this, but pull a mulligan and give them Pixar. But they didn't, and they gave them 80s. And I thought that was a smarter choice for it. Even though they did well in it, you could still see that is probably a category that the Pride would have to work on later. And for the Real Rejects to land on Horror, that's a strength of theirs. So I thought that they had landed on Spinner's Choice. That's why whenever we were debriefing about it, I thought it was Spinner's Choice, because it was the horror category that they chose, which is very much up John and Greg's alley. So I really enjoyed this match very much, and I thought it was neck and neck, and I thought it was going either way from it.
I will say that it was a very interesting match for purposes that I love Rachel Silvestrini. She didn't have the best round 1. She kind of struggled a little bit, and that kept the Real Rejects really full on into it. Goddard did pretty well, not a perfect round, but the best part is that even though Rachel didn't have the strongest round 1, they stuck to their game plan, and they were able to will it out. They had the steals in round 2, could have gone either way. Neither team kind of gave in. The Real Rejects did show their mettle. They've definitely been much improved since their earlier days where they couldn't win a match. Now they had the great high score last time. They took the Denleys to the Pride rather, to the third round. They had a lot of knowledge base. There's some holes there. I don't think the Real Rejects will ever be considered a top tier team, but they could be strongly comfortable in that like second tier that could, any given Sunday kind of team where you never know what you're going to get, but they could actually pull something out if they have the right questions. And John Humphreys proved that a couple of times, even when like his free fall appearance, for example. So they have a lot of potential, but definitely I think they need. I mean, the Pride has their sights set on trying to become a premier team, so they needed this win a lot more than the Real Rejects did, and they won. I don't know if they did enough to say, oh yeah, they're ready for a title shot now. but they won. You can't take it away from them. They definitely made their shots. They're definitely ready to go on. I'm interested to see where they go next.
Yeah, I actually want to disagree with you on one thing. I think that the Real Rejects have a real shot at being a solid team.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't think they could outplay the Pride at this point. I have to stick with Rachel and Ben on this one, but the Real Rejects, I think, are a team that do legitimately want to be in this league. Whether it's for the entertainment value or for the trivia value is beside the point. Before their first match, I saw exactly what Coy was doing to prep them.
Mm-hmm.
Before the second match, he was doing the exact same thing, and it works. So I think that as long as those guys are with Coy, they're going to do great. I'd love to see another match from them. Obviously, Rachel and Ben, I think, did freaking stellar. I think Rachel had a rough first round. But that's about all I remember from this match. This match, the last time I saw it, was in March. So,
right. I should get that perspective from it. The last video match.
I haven't. I watched, I think, the intro of this. I saw Ken's promo, but I already seen it. And I watched the intro of it because I remembered being in the intro, and I wasn't. I was blocked from the camera. So, but yeah, I mean, I watched part of it when it came out, and I haven't gotten back around to rewatching it because study schedule. So,
hey, you got to do what you got to do. The Real Reject intro was pretty funny, though, too.
Yeah.
Red Letter Media.
Red Letter Media.
I loved that. I was cracking up. I wish I would have been on the reaction for it because I was busted watching that whole thing. Oh my gosh.
I thought it lost just a little bit of pizzazz over camera. In studio, like just quick delivery in studio. There's so much that gets edited in these matches. That was straight as is from the in studio perspective.
I loved it. I loved it. Cracking up.
The whole studio was dying. That was great. I love those guys. I hope they do well. I hope they stick around.
Me too.
I gotta ask you: is Jillian a taskmaster? Is she like a whip you into shape? Or is she really behind that?
You know what? She, yes.
Good job.
She plays more of a taskmaster to the public than she actually is in person. I mean that, and I mean that in the best way possible. But no, Jill is very integral to my study process because the fact of the matter is, most of the people that I'm competing against aren't working right now. I am.
That's true. That's true.
So,
Yeah, you have to. All right. The question was whether you were a taskmaster or not, Jillian. That's what it was. Are you a taskmaster? Which I could totally see you being, and I can totally see you just whipping him into shape. But he needs it.
How much of a taskmaster are you?
Oh, yes.
There you go. I very good. Yes. Okay. Good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Our study method does. I don't think I would be able to do it without Jill. So I think the study method would be very different without her. And I think that's true for, Alex and Nikki, Andrew and Nikki, excuse me. And I'm sure that's true for Molly and Alex.
Yeah, all those A's and M's and then it's all good. It's all good. It's funny how it's all fun of the Star Wars, the competitors and their wives and their other significant others are far much more involved with each other than the other Schmoedown competitors are. You see that more prolifically in the Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, except for, I know that Grace isn't helping Ken. That I can say for sure. Grace does not want Ken winning this, so and less so because Grace is part of our faction, more so because Grace probably wants Ken to not be having to compete anymore because
it's true.
Yeah, he tried to retire. I mean, come on.
He really did. He tried to come
wrote a book.
He wrote a book. The damn man wrote a book.
Yeah, I haven't read it. I own a copy. It's keeping one end of these bookshelves up because one's kind of slanted, so it's just stuck under there to keep it up. But
it's a fun book. I will tell you that is a fun book.
Yeah, I read the cover.
That's all you need.
I feel like those are some shots over there.
Wow.
Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Fair enough.
All right. And then round 3. So we had the Real Rejects coming into it in the lead. So we had the Pride answer their question first. They got their 2 and their 3 right. However, the Real Rejects only got their 2 right, did not get their 3 or their 5, causing them to lose to the Pride. And I have to admit, I know the answer to their 5-pointer, so I was pretty proud of myself.
So did I. Okay, but here's where the subjective thing comes into it, because it was a Pixar question.
Yeah.
I instantly knew that answer, and especially because Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar, or my second favorite Pixar movie. It's my second favorite Pixar movie. Coco's my favorite. I felt like that was a little bit of an easier thing, and I was just like hoping that like I could travel through time somehow back to March and put that answer into their heads, because it's right there. It's there, but it was very sad that they missed that question. Anytime someone gets a Pixar question wrong, I'm always sad about it. But I loved when Rachel went, everyone can cook. I thought it was so good.
You could just see her like dying, because I was just like, I know this one.
Yes. And I knew that she knew that answer as soon as that question was asked. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, Rachel knows.
What was the 5-pointer? I forgot.
What is the title of Gusteau's book and his motto or his phrase in Ratatouille, which is everyone can cook.
Everyone can cook.
Yep.
Everyone can cook. That's true.
Yeah.
So.
Not anyone, everyone.
Everyone. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I do want to make a quick. Christian says that there is a announcement that there's going to be a Star Wars preview tomorrow. They're doing Jen Sturger and Brad Gilmore, and supposedly there is a special guest that we're going to be pumped when we find out who it is. So that is going to be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that.
Interesting.
So interesting to see that. But anyway,
Whitwer. That.
What was that?
I said it's a Whitwer.
That's
Maybe
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Junior, or
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
Kevin
probably.
Smith.
I mean, I'm sure it's Alex Damon or someone, right?
Could be. It could be. Could be. We'll be pumped to see who it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited. What time is that? Do we know?
I think it's at. I think Jen said it was at 2:00 Pacific. I believe. Let me make sure that.
What time is that Central, Paul?
Yeah, real
2
time.
p.m.
Mountain time.
It's 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. The other times don't exist. So figure it out from there. So
You're lucky I don't believe in kicking people off, but otherwise I would have exited from the stream.
on my own StreamYard. How dare you? How dare you? Sorry, Kels, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Any final thoughts on that match before we talk about a few other things?
I think we went through it all pretty well.
All right. Well, then our next segment is, where I can find it, Schmoedown News, which really the only news that I can think of really that happened this week for the most part was Hitman sucks. Do we need to elaborate any more on that?
I mean, there's a lot more news that happened this week. This has been like the craziest week and a half for Schmoedown.
It really has.
It really has.
I love that. You know what, Sean? I looked at your account. We did do a free agent. We did a free agent signing special. We did that.
Yeah.
We did cover all that before. But I would love to. While you're here. Why don't you give us your take on the new special rocking new compadres in the Schmoedown and some of the other players that have been drafted as well.
Well, as far as the den, here's what I can say about that. I mean, Vanessa's a freaking great pickup. We needed another female in the den, truth be told. And Vanessa's perfect for freaking person for that spot. And James White's someone that I actually met at the draft and have, I wouldn't say I've been super close with him, but I've had, a decent relationship with him, even being from another faction. So if we're going to replace Hannah with someone, yeah, James White is the perfect freaking person. I mean, I've been on Zoom more times with Jake White this week than I've been with Hannah.
Wow.
He's been on the team. So,
wow.
Yeah, Jake White and Vanessa are freaking fantastic.
James White, right? James White.
What did I just say?
You said Jake White.
Tomato,
Then
tomato.
Jake Activetta. You're seeing Jake Activetta in the chat, and you're.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it was. Hi, Jake.
I do want to ask you a quick question. If you're done with that, I'm so sorry.
Yes, I am.
How do you feel about this Roca rundown drama that happened? Are you aware of any of that and seeing any of that happen?
Which was that? Oh, are we talking about like how biased the what do we call that show?
The rundown.
The Stock Exchange podcast. I mean the.
No, what's
Sorry.
No, I don't know the Roca rundown controversy, or I do, and I can't think of it.
Just that Brad Gilmore had said some stuff about Roca, Bateman, and Finstock, saying that I believe it's the IG bracket completely stacked against them.
Now that okay, so I don't think the brackets are stacked against anyone. As I was saying earlier, I think that it's just a different method than we're used to for the brackets. I think the traditional bracket, like I said, is top bottom, whereas this is more pairing more like competitors with like competitors. I also think the IG bracket has a little bit more storyline bred into it, whether that's by chance or on purpose. I have no idea. I don't think that anyone's out to get the Finstock Exchange.
I'm not.
I think it's all bluster from Roca. I like Roca, but I don't agree with him on this.
That was even my shocked face on.
It's a lot of hot air. It's all it is, and it's Finstock and their podcast trying to why did they get two podcasts is what I'm confused about.
There's a lot of people coming for this right here, obviously, but I believe Action Bear is going to hold on to that and maybe see another one next year. We'll see.
John Roca definitely has a unique outlook on everything. Most things.
Now I'm thinking of Thrawn in the chat. Now I'm thinking of John Roca as Winnie the Pooh.
Wow, that's great. If we have any artists out there, we should definitely do that. So, and there, John Kaiser, yes, out to get the Fun Stock Exchange. Fuck them. Yes, we'll say that. Okay,
Kaiser, I'll back you on that.
And Jillian, yes, you could start a Den podcast. That'd be amazing. I would definitely follow that as well. So.
Me too.
All right. So yeah, how about the addition of Kevin Smith and Chris Jericho to the league?
Well, so the only aside from this shelf, which I haven't changed out yet so I changed out my shelves for the Schmoedown Star Wars stuff. Everything up there is all Star Wars except for one pop figure, and it's Kevin Smith.
Bob.
Yeah, it's my Kevin Smith pop figure that Jill got me. So I'm very excited to have Kevin Smith in the league, because Rachel is not the only Den member that's a big Kevin Smith fan. In that first, I don't know if Kevin Smith is still making movies. Actually, John Kaiser,
He is. He's got
Mallrats,
Clerks 3. He's doing a whole bunch. I just watched Tusk today, which was quite of a mind fuck of a movie.
I haven't seen. I think that's the only one I haven't seen is Tusk. Get him to sign it. I plan on getting him to sign that, Chris Adams. But yeah, no, I'm very excited about Kevin Smith. I don't know anything about wrestling. I don't know who Chris Jericho is, but
the Ayatollah of rock and roll.
I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't know. I never watched wrestling growing up, so I'm excited to have a big name in the league, no matter who it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Jill is very freaking excited about. The lead singer of Fozzy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would be more likely to know him as that than a wrestler.
Oh boy. Jillian says, "How dare you not?"
Yeah.
Jillian, I don't know if I can blame you on that one. I don't know if I can blame you. So.
I'm very similar. I don't know anything about Jericho. I've heard the name.
Yeah, I mean, I know the name. I was excited to see on Twitter Cody Rhodes made a comment about the Schmoedown. Like, that'd be cool too.
Very cool.
Did I get the name right, Cody Rhodes?
Yes,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I know.
You don't know any of those guys.
I don't know any of those guys. The only thing I know about Cody Rhodes is that Rachel Silverstream was showing me some of him and his brother's videos. Maybe I'm thinking of different people.
No. Cody and his brother Dustin are second generation wrestlers. I mean, they have their father Dusty Rhodes, who's a long, old time legendary wrestler. So he really knows his business. He's the one that's basically in charge of AEW for the most part. And Chris Jericho, I will say, Chris Jericho is probably, honestly, low key. He's not as famous as people like The Rock and like Stone Cold Steve Austin. But he's probably one of the top 5 to 7 wrestlers of all time. He always put on a good match. Has great charisma. Keeps making multiple comebacks. Knows the psychology of the match, which is why if anybody wants to learn a promo, go to promo school. If anybody in Schmoedown thinks they need to learn promos, find yourself a seat next to Chris Jericho and bend his ear for a little bit, because Chris Jericho can do any kind of promo at any time.
I'll have to. I'll have to do that because I probably need some work on it.
Real question for me, John. Well, the question is, how many chainsaws do I have in my backyard? At least 2.5. There's one in the side yard. I don't know if you want to count that one or not. Anyway.
It's just a chain. It's not the full actual chainsaw. It's just a chain buried. I'm not going to say how I know this. I'm sorry.
Kaiser, do you need to borrow one?
The real question is, Kaiser, no, I don't have your chainsaw back. I still have that one in my shed. It's good to go. You're gonna have to put gas in it though.
Yeah. I don't know how I know that, but yeah. I will say that I'm super excited about Doug Benson coming into the league as well.
He's a great one, yes.
I'm probably more pumped about Doug Benson than Kevin Smith and Chris Jericho, just because I've been a big fan of Doug Benson for a very long time. Some of y'all in the chat know for obvious reasons. And if you don't know, Chill to Action is very specifically called Chill, and it's green for a reason. So it is what it is. And so as soon as Doug Benson was announced, I was like, all right. Like as soon as Kevin Smith was announced, Paul was like, let's go, let's get him. And then see, that's the Chill logo right there. It's green for a reason. And as soon as Kevin Smith was announced, Paul was going crazy about it. Let's do whatever we can. And then as soon as Doug Benson was announced, I was messaging Paul, let's do it. Let's do whatever we can. So it would
get him on Chill.
Yeah, it would be a dream to be able to for me personally to get Doug Benson on Chill, and to just be able to have a conversation with Doug would be so much fun for me, in the same way that I know it would be fun for Paul to talk to Chris Jericho and Kevin Smith. So.
Well, and someone else to be excited about. I mean, there's a lot of people to be excited about in that. I mean, you've got Sean Gerber, Sabina Graves all coming back, but Scott Nance is back. As someone who is a fan of old school Schmoedown, as much as I've talked about how much the Schmoedown has changed, and how I think that the Star Wars League is finally changing, Scott Matz is back for a little bit of old school Schmoedown flavor.
Absolutely.
And exactly. I just want him. Holy shit! Holy shit! Scott hasn't been around since I've been, in and around the Schmoedown inner, circle. But as far as that goes, I met Scott a couple years ago. How much? Sorry, I get too distracted by the chat, guys.
I know.
I really don't know anymore, Kaiser.
I thought about. It's funny that Kaiser says scoundrels. I thought about that as my nickname, and I wish I would have gone with that instead of the Saint.
Oh, I like that too. That's good. Oh, that's good. Sean Scoundrel. Oh.
Sean the Scoundrel.
What a concept. I think I'm going to refer to you as the Scoundrel from now on. There's canon in my head.
Jealous. But yeah, I'm glad to get Scott Mance back in the league. I mean, he's someone that is freaking hilarious. He's so fun to watch on screen. Doesn't matter how well he does, he's just entertaining. So Mark Ellis has been doing his bar trivia, and then on one episode that he was doing, Scott Mance came out to do a Beatles round against Ken Knapsack. Yeah. And as soon as Scott Mance came on the screen, I was probably just here
cleaning up my room, just having something on the TV. And then as soon as Scott Mance came on, like my whole, like I just lit up. Like that man brings so much positivity to anything that he's a part of. He's a fucking diamond. I love Scott Mance, and I'm so excited for him to be back into the league because I love just that constant positivity all the time.
So I'm gonna make a comment, and I'm gonna get judged for it. I don't care. That's not the point of the comment. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but here's the reason I bring that up. When I met Scott Mance, I talked to Scott Mance about the Beatles for 15 minutes. I didn't care about the subject, and it was still hella entertaining.
Captivating.
Scott Mance, he's so energetic about the Beatles. If there was a Beatles trivia in the Schmoedown, he'd be our champ.
Well, we get to see him soon. Even besides the regular league, he's going to have the exhibition match coming up against Ben Bateman to try to get, well, actually to defend his movie release dates championship. Well, that should be an entertaining match because, as we all know, we saw the last match. I'm actually glad to see a Ben versus Scott 1-on-1 because Ben kind of got a little bit screwed because of the, not that screwed is a strong term, but with the multiple people, I think it was Hlavik, I want to say. I can't remember who it was. Not people who kind of was throwing him for a loop as far as like taking answers away in a way that Ben, if on a one-on-one match, could have made it a much more bigger fight. So I'm happy to see Ben versus Mance 1-on-1 in this way.
Zeke, that's a good one too. The sorcerer.
Nice.
Oh, sorcerer. I like that.
I guess it does fit my shelf a little bit.
You're not going with Sean Sarlacc pit over though, right? That's
No,
Case.
that's
Case.
That's Katie.
That's what a Case. You can't go with that, right? Okay.
She's the Sarlacc pit.
Speaking of exhibitions, I'm going to throw an audible here. Do we know what the exhibition is going to be this week? Do we have an exhibition match that they're throwing?
I don't know that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Is there one this week, or are they putting them on a brief hold?
I don't know. I wasn't sure if they were or not. I never kind of got that reference, whether or not they were.
Because we have the first Star Wars match this week.
Right.
May 20th.
Right.
Have they announced any of the other dates for the Star Wars matches?
They have not yet. They have not yet. But I do want to throw something up real quick, actually, while we think if somebody in the chat can tell us if there is an exhibition match this week. We finally got a thank you to Robert Adams of the Cine Fanatics. There we go. It's the Outlaw. So, who the Guy Fawkes mask we just. So thank you very much for that. I cannot unsee that now. Thank you so much.
That's very cute. That's very cute.
He says there is still one. Eric says there is still one this week. So I just wonder which one it is. I don't remember hearing. Oh, it's the horror exhibition.
Horror.
Great. All right.
And I see someone said in there the Star Wars starts this Thursday. I think it's this Wednesday.
It's May
It's the 20th,
20th.
so that is Wednesday.
And I know that the 25th is on a Monday because that's my birthday.
There you go. And yes, I do want to frame that, please. Somebody should really make that a piece of art. All right, great. Kelsey.
All right, if that's about all the news we need to cover for this week, I guess we go on to our next segment, Call to the Network, where we talk about all the awesome shows we have coming up this week on the channel. Starting with tomorrow, Danielle, PLD, what's happening on Chill?
Ooh, I'm super excited about Chill to Action tomorrow. We have Eric Rodriguez, Nerd Chronic, coming on Chill to Action. So I'm super pumped about that. We've been talking about Eric for a long time for Chill because he's definitely someone. A lot of people have put him up for the Yodi Award and different things like that. He is definitely a backstage person that deserves as much credit as anyone else who plays inside of the league because Eric is one of the great ones and also one of the best people ever. Like, I absolutely adore Eric. He's so nice and so sweet, and everything that he's been doing with Video Drew on her channel has been so much fun to watch. So I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow's Chill to Action with Eric Rodriguez. Nerd Chronic himself will be there. And Paul, do you want to say what we're doing next Monday, or you want to wait?
I will. No, I can say it, but I will say also it's funny because we actually did try to get. We were going to have Eric on in December at some point. I can't remember exactly the date, whatever, and then the dates couldn't work out. So this has been a long time coming. So I'm excited about that. We do have a few more in a row. The next week after that, we're going to bring on someone. Actually, one of the reasons I asked to have the exhibition match is we have Tim the Tank Franco coming on, and he's got that Bond exhibition match coming on. And if you ever watch the FinStock Exchange podcast, you know that I doubled down my bet with Josh Estes. He took Brad Gilmore in this match. I took Tim the Tank. None of us took Kalinowski, so we're watching to see how that one lies. But I love Tim. Tim and I have met in the chat a bunch of times. He share a lot of similar tastes in movies. So I'm really excited to break that down with him. He's a competitor that I feel like if he had the time to commit and lived in LA, he could be challenging for a championship. He seems to have a lot of base knowledge going with him. So there's that. And then, of course, after that.
Really quickly, I'm so sorry. That Monday is my birthday Monday. I turned 33 that day. Come in and hang out. Wish me a happy birthday. I'm going to have my birthday crown on, maybe a birthday sash. Maybe we won't even talk to Tim at all.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just joking. But it is my birthday. May 25th is my birthday. So come in and hang out. Tell me happy birthday because I still kind of have to quarantine for my birthday. So.
And then upcoming from that, next two we have coming up one of the hottest free agent signings of the recent time. We do have Sabrina Ramirez coming on. She should be awesome. Should be some fun there. And following that, we're going to have her first cut podcast mate, RB3. So that should be a lot of fun next couple weeks on Chilled Action.
Woo! We officially have all of the first cut members scheduled.
Thank you, Don. Thank you for the note. I will add that to my question list, and we will definitely talk about that.
Who doesn't?
That's very true. Everyone loves to be in the dungeon at some point or other. Come on. I mean, the dungeon's an offshoot of the Action Army anyway. We all know this. John, you can actually absolutely tell it. You've admitted that before, John. Kevin has admitted it. We all have the video when Kevin came out and said Action Army when he won the championship. You're all part of the Action Army. We're going to conscript every last one of you. So, but anyway, going on to the rest, we have some Schmoebaits coming up sometime soon.
Yes, I think this week's got rescheduled, if I'm right. Isn't that correct, Danielle? Then Alex, I think, told us it's being rescheduled.
Yeah.
Yes,
so it's not going to be this Wednesday. It is going to be the following Monday, right before Chilled Action.
Yeah. So we probably will not have a Schmoebaits this week, but it's fine because it's anticipation for the amazing match that will be coming up a few days later. So
The tournament.
The tourney starts. Wow. The tourney is going to be awesome. I'm so excited that we finally figured out how to do it. And Daniel's going to win it all.
I'm still waiting
for a reason.
I'm still waiting for my return match. I am 1-0. I am not involved in the tournament yet. So eventually justice will come. You saw the promo I can shoot today. I will be coming for anybody who wins this goddamn tournament. I'm ready. You're not. Let's go.
All right. And then I do believe I heard Friday we are having a call to the fan leagues. I'm not sure which time it will come out, but we will have one on Friday. So we will post social media when it's about to come out. And then, of course, same time every week, live, we will be here on Sunday.
Great.
Covering everything that happened this next week, which probably, if it's going to keep going the way it's been, will be as crazy as it was this week. So we'll see.
It's been a crazy week.
Right.
Crazy month for the Schmoedown. So much stuff has changed. So much stuff has been announced. So much drama has happened. This is why we're fans of this show. Big shout out to Christian Harloff and anyone involved with the Schmoedown because this has definitely kept us entertained during the quarantine.
Yes.
And this is the drama that we need. I love it. I'm so pumped for everything that has happened in the Schmoedown this past week.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
Schmoedown chill.
All right. And then to finish it all off, we have questions from the chat. What do you guys have for us this week? Any questions Schmoedown related, not Schmoedown related, probably food related? That's usually what happens.
We
We have a very special person you can be asking questions for too as well. So get your questions in.
I've got nothing entertaining to say, so I'm just here.
Well, while we're waiting, why don't we plug our stuff? Sully, do you have any? John, do you have anything you want to plug? Any socials you want to plug? Anything like that?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be on Fairs and Suge Knight's podcast. Let's get ready.
Get ready.
We love those guys.
And I will be on there with James White. So two of us.
Very cool.
And then aside from that, I've got a match coming up. I can't say when, but it's coming up. in that tournament.
We just talked about. Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
but aside from that, no, I don't. You know what? You can check out my podcast or my live stream that I clearly have like every other person in this group. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't shit.
We're letting you go. We want to see how long you'd go on it. You know.
No, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Should have ran up there. We would have plugged it. Jake would have figured out like a fake link, all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Just fancy art or something. All right, Kelsey, why don't you plug? You want to plug your socials and stuff?
Sure. You can find me at KelseyKens90 on Twitter and Instagram. I also run the Call to Action Podcast Instagram, so you can interact with me there. TeePublic, we have merch. Either it's on sale right now or the sale just ended. So if you want Schmoedown or Call to Action merch, go there to get it. We have face masks. If you want a Call to Action face mask, you can go to TeePublic and get one.
We do.
Pretty cool.
I don't have one yet, but we do have them.
Yeah,
I know.
they
I'm
exist.
probably ordering one tonight, actually, to promote it better.
All right, and I do have a YouTube channel. I don't have a custom URL yet, so just search my name, Kelsey Kirkland, and click on my face, and you can go to my channel. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 so I can get the custom URL so it's easier to promote. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Danielle, tell me about Watch the Book, please.
Watch the Book is a show that I will have coming out. I'm so sorry. It's been like 3 weeks delayed at this point, but life happens. I live in Texas. Texas just opened. I'm so sorry. But Watch the Book is a show where I will be talking about books and their movie adaptations, similarities and differences, and everything in between. So come and check it out. You can follow me on Twitter at DannyJoy, DANIEEJOY. You can also find my YouTube page. Just search Danielle Ramirez, and then find my picture and click on it and subscribe also. So thank you so much, y'all.
Perfect. And I will plug myself. Phrasing. As I always do, phrasing. At Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You see me every week on Shield Action, also on Called Action Live, generally. And I also am on a show called Class Action on the Action Industries YouTube channel, Ben, Bateman, and Drew Ghai's channel, with Richard Eric Jarvie. We usually take up two opponents against each other, franchises, movies, put them up against each other in 5 custom-made categories. It's a fun show that goes up every Saturday, about 11:30 a.m. Pacific, unless we're doing a live stream, which we did last time with Mark Riley and Maddie Kern, where we ranked Superman, which was kind of fun as well. And also, real quick, I also opened up my own YouTube channel called PLD Projects. I did a Star Wars show, at least up until Clone Wars ended. I'll probably take a little bit of a break from that. I'm going to start with the Harris dance. Everyone knows how much I love Ed Harris, where I'm going to go through Ed Harris' filmography, movie by movie. So I'm going to make you all love Ed Harris as much as I do, or at least I'm damn sure going to try. So that's where we are with that. We do have a couple questions we're going to start on, or maybe some comments. Ferris with on Whiskers, General Whiskers. Let's say Sean.
General Whiskers, I love you too.
This one's
I'll see you tomorrow though.
That's true. That's true. And you should. That is Shug and Ferris and Justin. Josh, as Christian said, Josh Hamilton. Actually, Justin, but he's a good guy. I love that guy.
So I was so confused. I was watching their podcast the other day, and it said Josh. I'm like, why did it say Josh? Is this name Justin?
That's because Christian said it's Josh. So Justin's the kind of guy who just will roll with it and take it. He's a funny guy. I like Justin quite a bit. So Nerd Chronic himself has something he doesn't know. Something, Sean, do Star Wars competitors get the option to pick slices for round 2?
No,
really? Okay.
Not really. I mean, so if there was, I'm trying to remember exactly what was on my. How many slices are there? There's 10 slices.
I'm gonna say yes because that feels right.
Feels right. Yeah.
There's more movies than there are slices at this point.
Yeah.
Vehicles and weapons wasn't a category during my match, and neither was
heroes, villains.
Yeah, that kind of stuff didn't show up like it used to. So
yeah.
I don't know. I know what I would have put on if I had picked slices.
You can talk to me after the show's over. I don't want you to get your secrets out. So.
Although, here's what I will say. After today, I'm not so sure about it.
Ooh.
So figure what question was I asked from the chat that I got wrong. That's
There you go. Yeah. To be fair, if I ever played, I probably wouldn't put that on the wheel either myself. So
yeah. Oh, I would. See, that's the thing. I would. I love that category.
I want to point this out really quickly from Justin Square. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the awesomeness that is Stacey Howard? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Stacey. Oh,
So happy birthday to Stacey Howard, all of that good stuff. She is amazing. She is awesome. She is one of my favorite women inside of the Schmoedown. I've loved watching her throughout her whole thing. And the bracket breaker herself is amazing. So big shout out to Stacey Howard.
perfect. I love that. Brandon Buckingham, no question, but Sean's quarantine beard is fire. Is that really a quarantine beard?
It needs some grooming. It's getting to that.
You have a great big bushy beard anyway, though. We love your beard. It's part of your power. If you cut that thing down, I feel like you lose knowledge.
Before the Schmoedown, I didn't know. I've always had a beard, but it was always close trimmed and neat.
Mm-hmm. Bushiness gives you more power. Trust me.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna keep it.
It's all in the beard. You can store all of your knowledge inside of the beard.
That's the plan. And snap.
Oh, Star Drew, a favorite fan of ours. When can we see DJR play Super Nintendo games on Twitch? Dan did start a Twitch thing, didn't you?
I do have a Twitch. You can find me on Twitch. If you ever see me on the Schmoedown Twitch or anything, my name on Twitch is completely different from any other name that you've seen me on. It's One Little Figment. That's a Disney reference for anyone who might know it. Figment is one of my favorite characters from Disney World, and that's all. But you can find me on Twitch at One Little Figment, and hopefully as soon as I figure out how to connect my HDMI cable to my computer for my classic NES little thing that I have right here, so you can watch me totally just lose at everything. I've just recently, I finally connected it, and I stayed up to play Donkey Kong, and I haven't played Donkey Kong in probably over a decade, and I was just like, I can't. Turn it off.
Let's see, Salvador Navarrete. Did you know Chris Jericho has a new song out right now? I actually did not know that.
I did not know that.
I love Jericho. He's got a lot of tools. He's a great singer as well. So, Dean Morgan. This is actually, just jump. Sometimes StreamYard does that to me. It just jumps down. Let's see if I can get this.
Double team it, y'all. Double team it. Boop, boop, boop.
It was a question from. Oh, well, I don't know. I might have missed it, but oh well. Oh wait, there you go. I'll find it. Well, here's a question there. John Kaiser, did the Austin Adams boys get drafted? Are they still shoplifting fire at a fireworks store? That is a good question. If they are, then I think they're probably doing really well because I think they'd be good at it. That's what I have to say about that.
Guys, let me know. There's maybe 3 fireworks shops in between here to Austin. Next time I go to Austin, I'll make sure to snake some for y'all, and we'll just we'll get some fireworks for y'all, and we'll set it off in Texas.
We don't get those out here.
No.
Pepper Jack.
Pepper Jack is your favorite cheese? That's a good one.
A little spicy. I
love putting pepper jack on a hamburger, on a quesadilla.
You're getting me hungry. You're getting me very hungry.
Oh my gosh, on a quesadilla.
If you're asking me about for pizza, though, buffalo mozzarella.
Buffalo mozzarella.
Ooh, that sounds good.
All right.
And I should clarify, that is not buffalo like buffalo chicken. That is mozzarella made from buffalo milk.
Yes. No, you're good. That's actually very good. I've had it before. Hey, Sean, can you give me some ice cream? No. Okay, fair enough.
Get it your damn self. It's in the freezer. I'm on a thing.
This is a great question from Dean Morgans. Timothy Oliphant joined Mando season 2. What new character are you most excited to see in the upcoming season?
New character or returning character?
I think we'll say new character to the show. How about that?
Okay. Captain Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now let me interject real quick before you go on.
No.
Everybody's saying Boba Fett.
That's Captain Rex. I think it'll be both.
Why not both?
Why not both? I love Rex. I just started watching Clone Wars this year. like 3 months ago, probably, and I am in love with Rex. I'm sorry. Rex is one of my favorite characters from Clone Wars.
I like to see both. So, but anyway,
And then the other character would be Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
Absolutely.
Oh, so good.
Katie Sackhoff. Give me more Katie Sackhoff.
I gotta ask this though, from anybody
And
else.
I've got Ahsoka up here too, and I mean,
Oh, so good. I get it. I get what you're doing though. I'm all for it too. But please, and there's no rumors about this. This is all to me. Can I please get a live action Hondo Ohnaka, please, at some point? That's what I want to see. I think
what was it? Ben Goddard suggested Timothy Oliphant for Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. That'd be an interesting one. He could fit that.
Hondo too.
Could see Hondo. I would love to see Hondo in a live action.
I would like to stop hearing casting choices and rumors from now on. Like, I want to be surprised. I get it. Like, I understand. Hearing all of this stuff is really cool. Like knowing that Ahsoka Tano is coming into The Mandalorian it was really fun to hear. I would have much more appreciated it if I saw it during the episode. The same way that we were all encapsulated with the child. Like that feeling, we're not going to get that feeling from The Mandalorian. So that's what kind of bumps me out about all of these casting things already being out there. So I would prefer not to hear any more casting stuff, but there's no way that I can avoid it.
It's kind of the unfortunate, just the world we live in. You can't avoid it. And especially the second season has been filmed already. So I mean, it's hard not. There's somebody going to leak it. But I agree. I would love to see it come up like this.
Well, and that's so many. I don't understand how we're going to get that many recognizable characters in one season if it's 8 episodes again. I don't really want recognizable characters in every episode. That's not what I want out of this show. And if that's kind of what they get, I'll still love it. I'll still watch it, but I'd prefer the way they did.
Actually, they have a lot of development of those characters. That's what they need to do at this point. They have characters to develop already. Go with that route. There's a good one for you there, Sean. What's Wedge's call sign at the Battle of Hoth? You know that?
No comment.
Really? Okay. It's Rogue 3, in case anybody really wants to know. Rogue 3. Let's see.
I can call.
Right? All right.
Right. That's right. Rogue 3 is great. What is the craziest thing that happened during a session when playing D&D? I love that.
I had a level 1 party kill a mind flayer.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen? That's gonna be like a 20 natural 20 kind of thing.
I've got one, and the worst part about it was that
I just love Danny's face right now. That's all.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
So mind flayers, Danny, are the they're like Zoidberg.
Okay.
Yeah. But they eat brains. Yeah. They're big scary things. But so I had a level 1 party kill a mind flayer who was trying to escape, because that's how it was written in the pre-written adventure I was running, and they lit the door on fire, and they see.
I'm sorry. That's like as much as I know. Were you DMing at this time?
I was, yeah. So it was like a series of crazy things that shouldn't have happened, that all added up to them. Yeah.
That's a mind flare for you.
It looks exactly like a Zoidberg.
Right. See.
So there you go with that.
Kelsey,
do you have any questions on that, Quells?
No. What's your craziest?
Yes, I mean, any crazy stories?
Mine, I didn't get to play very long, but when I did get to, is I was playing in a group where I was the only person that had never played before, and everyone was fairly experienced. They're probably on like their 5th, 6th campaign at least. Mm-hmm. And we were in I don't remember exactly what happened, but we were against a bunch of different characters like that, and everybody else kept messing up and dying, and I ended up killing everything and saving everybody, not knowing what the heck I'm doing, just being like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak attack. Oh, they're dead. I'm okay. I'm just gonna throw a dagger at them. Oh, they're dead. And so I saved everybody. So I was pretty proud because I didn't really know what I was doing.
I like
And
it.
Paul, you seem to have some knowledge of this. You played in the 80s.
I did. I played more. I did play Dungeons and Dragons. I played more Star Wars role playing than I ever played D&D, though. I got to admit.
That too.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. I think my favorite thing I ever did was I was flying the Mercurial Crow as my ship, and not necessarily a crazy thing that happened, but my most fun memory of that was my DM sent a bounty hunter after me, and I found out we always thought it was Boba Fett was the guy who was facing us. And we were all scared and worried because we're low level guys. There's Boba Fett coming after me. He finally caught up to us in the center on Corellia, and it wasn't Boba Fett. It was a bounty hunter named Bob the Feet, and Bob the Feet is a little less lower level. We were able to take care of him, move on. We saved our day. I had a great DM who went to come up with these funny little equations and make us all worried, and then we get out of it at the end. It's what a DM does at the best. You put him in a fun situation, you make him scared. God, he's getting his pussy.
Just send me some links so I can get more informed about D&D, because there's very little that I know about it. But from what I do know about it, I do feel like being a dungeon master would be where I would fucking slay.
You know what? There's some
you're talking D&D still, right? Not anything else, right, Danny?
What?
You're talking D&D, right? Not anything else.
Damn it, Paul.
Crazy.
Wait, you want to slay as a dungeon master? Are we talking about them or role playing? I'm confused.
All right, here we go. There we are. I call that.
Okay,
So,
you know what? D&D is one thing that is really interesting about D&D nowadays for people that aren't, this is something that I'm super familiar with, but for people that aren't, D&D is becoming a great way to tell a story. There's a lot of really big podcasts and a lot of really big, YouTube channels now that are doing just fucking killing it as storytelling mediums, not necessarily as games. The big one being Critical Role, Acquisition Incorporated for a more comedy, version of that. There's a lot of that as a possibility. And so even if you're not into D&D, there's some pretty good podcasts and stuff to listen to just for pure entertainment.
I would listen to Dan Harmon's Dan Harmon's podcast, and then they do a little subsection where they do the D&D stuff with it. And I always really, really enjoyed it, from a story point perspective. So that I think that's what kind of sparked my interest into D&D. But I don't. There's no one around me. There's no one in my actual life who plays D&D. So I don't have quick access to it at all. So
yeah,
send me links.
Oh well,
I can do that.
Let's see. Ferris Mathana, Jake, do you ever stop being an asshole? I can answer that for him. No, he does not, and we are happy about that because that's who he is.
You love him for it.
I love Jake.
Except for when he says that, then he can go fuck himself. Let's see, we got some more questions down here. Oh, hey Saint, JJ Windward, say Saint, thoughts on Boondock Saints?
I love the Boondock Saints. Jill probably likes it a little more than I do.
Oh, fair enough.
She had a Boondock Saints sticker on her car.
Nice.
She doesn't have that car anymore, but she did. I love Boondock Saints. I haven't seen it in so long. But as soon as Star Wars Tournament's over, I'll probably rewatch it immediately after, because I've been wanting to, and that's partially what my namesake is, my Schmoedown namesake is.
Right. Gosh, on that. I know Jake's a big fan.
I like that.
Jake's a big fan. I know that much.
I love it.
Ferris, Whiskers again. Sean, what's your favorite lightsaber? And same goes to the panel. He loves Mauls.
I love Mauls. I love Dooku's.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite would probably be, I really like Leia's. Seen a good shot of Leia's. I don't know. I think my favorite is probably the one from Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, okay.
It's double bladed, but he can break it apart.
Right.
That's super cool.
Yeah, Thrawn, kind of the curvy. I think I didn't Asajj have one of those in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think
In the Clone Wars movie, she had a double bladed at the start, and then it was curved like that.
Right. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I could be mistaken.
I definitely like Mace Windu's. Like, I'm not as well versed into Star Wars as anyone else inside of this panel, but I do like Mace Windu's, mostly because it's purple and the story behind it. Like, I don't know if this is the true story. Like, Sam Jackson said that he wanted a purple lightsaber just because that's just what he wanted, so they gave it to him.
Pretty much.
Now it kind of like snuck its way into canon somehow. It like with my stupid going into Star Wars and reading about what the different color lightsabers mean and stuff like that. The purple color is canon. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
It is.
And
It's
it says "badass motherfucker" on the hilt. If
that's
you
what
really
it
look
is,
close.
right?
Yeah. Well, and I see. I was thinking the question as in the handle. Light color we can change,
Mhm.
But Mace Windu has a really cool. Mace Windu and the Emperor both have really cool handles.
Yes, they do. Dooku
but-
does too, actually. But you know what? I will say I'm going to go with Legends when that's not in canon anymore. If you read, there's a Jedi by the name of Corran Horn in the Legends series. He was a Corellian Corsac operative and he became a Jedi. He has this cool lightsaber which can actually have different lengths. He can extend it like different, like what he needs, like something short, slow term, and that's really sound dirty again. We're getting to bad phrasing again, but he has like it's like a shorter term thing. But he can, if he needs to go longer, he can like switch the crystals and make it go even longer. It's kind of cool. So you don't really see that in the movies as much, but it's kind of a cool different avenue they travel with it. So that's probably my favorite one. Although I do like Maul's double sided as well.
Yeah.
My two favorites. I love a classic Vader one. It's the one I own. It's one of my favorites.
Fucking Vader.
And then I do like Kylo Ren's, A, because it's just a different take on the saber, but B, also, I'm a very audio person, and the sound it makes when it's going, it just has this different kind of buzz to it, and I just love that so much.
I like the different. I like when they change the sounds on the lights, like the Kylo saber. Yeah.
Because it's like it's not there working very well.
Yeah, it's like
completely working,
glitching
it's like
almost.
glitching almost. I like that too.
I love that.
Cool.
Thrawn was a member of Rogue Squadron.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Thrawn's asking if Corran Horn was a pirate. A pirate.
Pilot. Yeah, eventually. Yes, he does.
He was a member of Rogue Squadron in Legends.
Yes, he did. He was a Jedi for a while. And went to yes, he's a little bit of everything. But he was almost a little bit of everything. He was in different things. He helped out with the Jedi Temple a lot as well. But yes, he was in the Starfighters of Adumar X-Wing book as well. We had I missed him a color, didn't I?
Sorry, any questions we missed?
There you go, Justin in the Square. There you go, one more. Justin in the Square. If you could go back in time to the draft and tell one manager one thing, which manager would you choose and what would you say?
That's
I don't know. I'm pretty happy with where I ended up. I thought there was another faction or two that I wanted to be on. But Kate and I get along very well as far as, I talked to Kate about a lot of her decisions, and we, not like that I'm in the decision-making process, but like I very much like the way that Kate thinks. If I could go back in time, I would probably tell John Kaiser to draft the Cinefanatics.
Oh, good one.
There you go.
Good
There.
one.
I like that a lot.
You're placating a little bit to the chat, but I get it. I fully appreciate that and go for that.
Real quick. I'm a tweener. I've never said, everyone else says I'm a face. I'm a tweener.
Yeah,
I misread that as supports Batman. I'm like, what's wrong with that?
No, I love Kelsey so much, and Kelsey can go ahead and believe that she's a tweener as much as she wants to, but we all know Kelsey's an actual heel.
Yeah, you know what? I think
Yeah.
Will McLean brings up a good point. I would tell Kate to draft the Barbarian, and then me.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one. Like that's the one thing that you should tell any specific manager of your favorite. Like, get the Barbarian on your team.
There you go.
I feel like he's gonna crush it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Barbarian is
Can't wait to see him in the iTunes for sure. Woo! Can't wait to talk about it.
Brian, you don't have to tell me who you are. I will see your name and then plug your podcast.
There you go.
I know your podcast.
Oh, sweet. See, so
I
I know
was your first guest.
First guest. It is a good podcast.
No, Brian. We met Brian at the draft, and we met Jake the year before at the award show, and they're both great people. And I think they have a great freaking Schmoedown podcast that I know Christian has been plugging the Let's Get Ready to podcast lately, but Certain Point of View is probably one of the best ones out there that not enough people are listening to. So
Fair enough. We always like to support our fellow podcasters, our fellow after shows. We appreciate competition. That's what I got to say about that. We appreciate it. Makes us better. That's what I like to say, right? I love you guys. All you know that. I'm just joking.
Yes, I know. Just to touch on that also, anyone who decides to dedicate themselves to creating something for the Schmoedown, I definitely send them all of my well wishes, because this is pretty tough. Like, there's been a lot of times where the Schmoedown has completely consumed every single part of my life, even for the tiny bit that we do on this show, and running this channel and helping like managing 11 people at one time. It's hard, but coming up with content and creating content that is unique and special to one's own point of view is hard. So big shout out to every single person who is in this community, every single person that contributes to extra stuff inside of this community as fans definitely deserves recognition in every single way. So big shout out to anyone else creating Schmoedown content. So much. We are one big giant family. 100%. Yes.
What time is
Agreed.
Chill tomorrow?
Chill is at 10:15 Central Time.
All right, for anybody who wants a real time, it's 8:15 Pacific.
All right. So
11:15
in the morning,
Eastern.
watch Alex and Molly. They're on Certain Point of View. More Star Wars talk. Then at like 6, watch me and James on Let's Get Ready to podcast.
Perfect.
And then at 8:30.
8:15, but it usually starts at 8:30 because we always go a little bit late.
Yeah, realistically 8:30. At 8:30, Chill to Action. I forgot who's on there.
It's nerd chronic.
Nerd
Nerd chronic. But yes,
There's
that's
your
what
schedule, people.
That's
to
the
it.
Monday schedule.
Get to it. There you go. That's it. I think that's it there, Kels.
All right.
I saw a good. Hold on, I'm going to give you a this or that PLD.
Oh, wow. I don't get that very often. This is unfair. This is unfair. I don't like it. But all right, go ahead.
So, Team Trader or Team Hannah?
That's obvious. I'm sorry. That's obvious.
I've always been Team Bateman.
God, if Paul picks anything, he's going to be kicked off of the show. So.
Only one of them has talked crap about us. Keep that in mind.
I'm feeling that. I'm going to give Dean Morgan credit on that one. That's all him.
Do you have an answer, Danielle? You have an answer you seem so sure about. Why don't you go ahead and nail yours, and then I'll give you mine.
Obviously, it's Team Bateman, because what happens from now on is Trader has a very different ring to it. There's only one Trader, one real Trader for Call to Action. And we all know who that is.
I will say this. You're asking me if it's Team Trader or Team Hannah. It's the same choice. They're both being the same thing. So it's not a this or that.
One. That's the same thing.
That's what I'm sticking with.
Team Trader or
That's also probably the first time on record anyone's heard me say Team Bateman.
It might be. That might be.
I like Jake. Oh my
That's what I said too. Yep. That's why I said I came up with the answer I did. I'm just going to say that. So there you go. Here with an answer that works. And yes, Kaiser, we're getting off soon, but that's Francine again. But we are on long because that's what we do.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to call it a night, folks. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday for Call to Action Live, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Salute.